Welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 651 Ambition. That is the Wushong Immortal Sword, a legendary quasi-immortal sword belonging to the forbidden strongman Wushong Quasi-Immortal Emperor, which contains extremely strong destructive power. Moreover, it is said that the Wushong Immortal Sword contains the ultimate mystery above the taboo. That is a quasi-immortal sword that even the quasi-immortal emperors would covet, and its value is inestimable. However, it has long been missing. Zhu Jing did not expect that when he was investigating Chen Luo, he would actually find the trace of the Wushong Immortal Sword. It was really a pleasant surprise, a huge surprise. Lord Suppressing Evils, that's the Endless Immortal Sword. We're going to make a great contribution. Yes, a quasi-immortal emperor soldier, or the Endless Immortal Sword. I didn't expect that guy to have a quasi-immortal emperor soldier. If we pass the news back to Lord Fire Ancestor, we will definitely get unimaginable rewards. If Lord Fire Ancestor gets the Endless Immortal Sword, he can better guard the boundary sea in our chiming immortal realm. This is the supreme merit and honor. That damn guy, he obviously has the Endless Immortal Sword but doesn't hand it over. He deserves to die. The other defenders of the boundary sea talked about it, their eyes full of fiery colors. Those who can be selected as boundary sea defenders are all top-level strongmen and geniuses in various immortal realms, and they naturally have knowledge. They naturally knew the preciousness of the Wushong Immortal Sword. Humph! What Wushong Immortal Sword? What nonsense are you talking about? Where is the Wushong Immortal Sword? Just when everyone was discussing, a very cold voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Zhu Jing's face was cold, and his eyes were staring at the many boundary sea guardians present. The coldness in his eyes seemed to freeze everything completely. Lord Suppressor of Evils, Wushong Immortal Sword, didn't you hear the voice from the Fulling Mirror? That Chen Luo has the Wushong Immortal Sword in his hand. A boundary sea guardian thought that Zhu Jing didn't hear the voice from the Fulling Mirror just now, and hurriedly explained. Yes, Wushong Immortal Sword, Lord Suppressor of Evils, we heard it right. Another senior boundary sea guardian next to him also spoke. Boom. However, before the boundary sea guardian finished speaking, he felt a powerful spiritual power that suppressed the world. Zhu Jing released a series of heaven-slashing and earth-destroying original powers from his body, which quickly covered the many boundary sea guardians around him. Lord Suppressing Evils, do you want to take the Immortal Sword of Endlessness for yourself? Don't make a mistake. No, Lord Suppressing Evils, don't. We haven't heard of the Immortal Sword of Endlessness, don't kill us, don't kill us. Lord Suppressing Evils, don't do stupid things, you can't bear the blame from Lord Huoziu. Yes, we don't know what the Immortal Sword of Endlessness is, please forgive us, we don't know anything. The surrounding boundary sea guardians are all smart people. When they saw Zhu Jing showing such a powerful power, they immediately knew Zhu Jing's ambition. He wanted to conceal the news of the Immortal Sword of Endlessness and take it for himself. Many defenders did not expect Zhu Jing's ambition to be so great that he even dared to covet the forbidden quasi-immortal emperor weapon such as the Wushong Immortal Sword. He was really bold. Their faces were ugly, their bodies trembled, and they spoke one after another, either threatening or begging for mercy, trying to change Zhu Jing's mind and save their lives. Chapter 652 Putting the Blame on Others. After all, Zhu Jing is the evil-suppressing envoy of Zhehe. He is extremely powerful and has many treasures given by the Fire Ancestor. With their strength, they were completely unable to check and balance Zhu Jing. If Zhu Jing wanted to attack them, they would have no choice but to be easily slaughtered by him. Zhu Jing shook his head, with a faint smile on his face. Haha, I can only blame you for your misfortune. I know things I shouldn't know. Considering that we once fought side by side against the evil tribe in the boundary sea, you will die happily. Zhu Jing, you don't have to die well, I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. Zhu Jing, I want to kill you. You can't hide what you did. Lord Fire Ancestor will eventually find you out. Damn it, why, it's just an immortal sword, is it worth it? Is it worth it, our friendship for so many years? Fuckm, LGBTRU002. When the surrounding defenders heard Zhu Jing's words, they immediately realized that there was no possibility of Zhu Jing turning back and cursed one after another. Some of the defenders mobilized their own strength to fight to the death even if there was little hope. Is it worth it? As long as it allows me to embark on the true forbidden path, everything is worth it. Zhu Jing's eyes were firm and he spoke calmly. After saying that, Zhu Jing did not hesitate anymore, and activated the original power that destroyed the heaven and earth around him, and quickly poured it out towards the many defenders around him. Boom boom boom! With a terrifying roar, the surrounding defenders were completely annihilated and obliterated by this terrifying source of power, turning into countless pieces of flesh and blood. I'm finally clean. The endless immortal sword is mine. No one can get involved with it. Anyone who hinders me will die. After wiping out many of the surrounding defenders, Zhu Jing slowly raised his head, his eyes flashing with a determined rainbow light. Then, Zhu Jing put away the soul-restoring mirror and looked in the direction of the ancient immortal city. However, before that, it still needs to be dealt with, Zhu Jing murmured in his heart. After saying that, Zhu Jing punched his chest hard, and his overbearing inspiration quickly shattered the flesh and blood of Zhu Jing's chest. Zhu Jing's face became extremely pale, and a stream of blood oozed from the corner of his mouth. Master Evil Suppressor, what happened? Not long after Zhu Jing dealt with the traces of spiritual intelligence around him, many guardians who were investigating in other places came to Zhu Jing and asked quickly. They all felt that the blood here belonged to their defenders. When he saw Zhu Jing, who was pale, with blood oozing from the corners of his mouth, and seemed to be seriously injured, his face was full of panic. Nothing, it's Chen Luo, the lord of the ancient immortal city. He left a backup here and killed many of our defenders of the world sea. Fortunately, I have Lord Fire Ancestor's treasure to protect me, otherwise. Zhu Jing gritted his teeth and said with a look of hatred on his face. He seemed to hate Chen Luo deeply and wanted to eat his flesh and blood. What? That damn guy actually dares to leave the means to design our world sea. He doesn't want to live anymore. Damn it, we are guarding the boundary sea, and these damn borers dare to deal with us. It's so damned. We must catch this guy and put him in an endless prison, so that he can live but not die. When the surrounding defenders heard Zhu Jing's words, their faces immediately became extremely ugly, and endless anger surged in their hearts. Chapter 653, Difficult. Originally, I heard some rumors from the outside world that many powerful people in the Taigu Xiancheng seemed to have killed a lot of foreign evil tribes, which seemed to be quite good. However, now that they know that Chen Luo, the lord of the Taigu Xiancheng, has set up a backup plan and caused huge casualties to the defenders of their boundary sea, everyone has no good impression of him. Instead, there is a deep, difficult to resolve blood feud. They naturally did not doubt Zhu Jing's words. After all, that was their lord of the suppressing evils. Lord suppressing evils, the lord of the Taigu Xiancheng is so cruel and ruthless. We must catch them now and not let him go unpunished. That's right, the people of the Taigu Xiancheng are probably not good people either. All of them must be sent to the boundary sea to make them pay for the things done by the lord of the Taigu Xiancheng. Catch them now. Everyone continued, and the spiritual energy in their bodies continued to surge. Zhu Jing gnashed his teeth and said with a look of grief, "Leave it to me. It's all my fault that I didn't protect my brothers well. I thought that this was the territory of the Qiming immortal realm and there would be no problem. I was negligent. I must suppress that guy myself and avenge our many brothers." In a delicate room in the Xingling city palace. On the bed in the room, there lay a beautiful girl with delicate features, like a perfect angel. The beautiful girl breathed steadily and her face was pale. The surrounding spirit gathering array continued to absorb the immortal spirit and slowly flowed into the girl's body. The girl, nourished by the immortal spirit, seemed to be slowly recovering her vitality. Okay, wake up, I know you're fine. At this time, a cold and indifferent voice sounded in the room. Then, the door of the room was gently pushed open. Chen Luo, who was wearing a white robe and had an extraordinary temperament, like a banished immortal, came into the room. After Chen Luo entered the room, he looked indifferently at Xue Xingsheng, who was still lying and seemed to have fallen asleep. Xue Xingsheng, the beautiful girl on the bed, heard Chen Luo's voice, her eyelashes trembled slightly, and she seemed to be trying to open her eyes. After a while, Xue Xingsheng slowly opened her starry eyes, and there was a bright light flowing in her eyes full of spiritual colors. Xue Xingsheng looked at Chen Luo with a cold face, showing a pitiful look, and said softly, "Brother Chen Luo, you look at Xingsheng so fiercely, Xingsheng will be scared." Looking at the quirky and cunning girl in front of him, Chen Luo felt that the Xue Xingsheng in front of him seemed to be the same Xue Xingsheng as before, and there was no change. However, Chen Luo knew that it was just a disguise of this guy, and the Xingsheng in front of him was not his Xingsheng. Thinking that Xingsheng's body was occupied by a taboo existence, Chen Luo felt distressed and quite uncomfortable. Chen Luo took a deep breath, then came to Xue Xingsheng and said lightly, "Let's talk about it. How can you give up this blood species?" Xue Xingsheng stood up and threw herself into Chen Luo's arms. She whispered in Chen Luo's ear, "Brother Chen Luo, do you know? Then you should know that once you become a blood species, there is no turning back. Even if I want to return the little girl to you, I can't do it." Chen Luo looked at Xue Xingsheng, the girl who was nestled in his arms, who looked like an ancient elf but was no longer familiar to him, and felt that it was extremely difficult. Chapter 654 Conversation. He could feel that the true spirit in Xue Xingsheng's body at this time fit perfectly with Xue Xingsheng's body. There was no abnormality at all, just like the original true spirit. If it hadn't been for the battle just now, I would have seen the strange look of Xue Xingsheng. I'm afraid that even I can't tell whether the girl in front of me is the snow star dome I'm familiar with. Xue Xingsheng hugged Chen Luo's arm tightly and continued, "Brother Chen Luo, that little girl can do it, so can I. I can do better than her, so can't you just think of me as her?" Chen Luo shook his head, without any change in his tone, and continued, "Don't force me, okay? Let's discuss it carefully. As a powerful and taboo man, why should you be obsessed with the body of a little girl? This body belongs to Xue Xingsheng, and it is Xue Xingsheng's only physical dependence. Unless it is absolutely necessary, Chen Luo does not want to use this body to blackmail this strange and taboo strong man." "Humph, you are stubborn. What good is that little girl? She is just an ant in the realm of the great emperor. Isn't a quasi-immortal emperor in this palace inferior to a little girl?" Chen Luo's words seemed to hurt Xue Xingsheng deeply. The cleverness and cunning on Xue Xingsheng's face completely disappeared, replaced by a burst of coldness. Chen Luo pushed away the girl in his arms and said indifferently, "So, you insist on not returning it?" Seeing that Chen Luo had no thoughts about her, Xue Xingsheng retreated to a corner of the bed and continued, "Chen Luo, I have made it very clear. It's not that I don't want to pay it back, it's that I can't do it." Chen Luo then said calmly, "Can't do it? You just need to disperse your true spirit on your own, and I will use my method to awaken the stars." Snow Star Dome. Hearing Chen Luo's words, everyone in Snow Star Dome was dumbfounded. They looked at Chen Luo like a madman. "Are you kidding? I will disperse the true spirit on my own. Thanks to your words, you don't want me to completely do you think it's possible to die and disappear from the world? Although she is a forbidden powerhouse in the quasi-immortal emperor realm, she has already fallen once, and now only her true spirit remains. If even this true spirit is completely dispersed, there will be no chance of resurrection. It can be said that it is no different from committing suicide." Chen Luo asked her to disperse the true spirit on her own, but naturally she would not agree. Chen Luo also realized that his request was a bit overwhelming, and then frowned and said, "You are already a strong man in the quasi-immortal emperor realm. Isn't there any other way to temporarily preserve the true spirit? The true spirit is something that every monk has. It is the origin of every monk and carries the soul of the monk. There are many treasures in the Scarlet Bright Fairyland that can temporarily carry true spirits. After reaching the realm of Saint, the true spirit can move in the outside world for a short time without dying. However, if the true spirit is separated from the body for a long time, it will slowly decline, and it is necessary to find a new body as soon as possible. This is the so-called seizing the body. What do you think of the strong people who are quasi-immortal emperors? They are taboo strong people. What are taboos? They are strong people who have transcended the original immortal king. Once they reach this state." Xue Xingsheng looked meaningfully. Chen Luo glanced at it and said slowly. Chen Luo frowned slightly. He felt that he seemed to be close to something secret, and continued to ask, "What will happen once you reach this level?" "Once you reach this level, there will be a terrifying existence staring at you." Chapter 655 Method. Xue Xingsheng seemed to have thought of something, a look of fear flashed across her delicate face, and her body seemed to freeze. The great horror! Chen Luo murmured in a low voice, what could it be that a taboo strong man in the quasi-immortal emperor realm could call it a great terror? After a while, Xue Xingsheng calmed down his thoughts slightly, and continued, "I can't reveal the rest. This is the limit of what you can know now, which means that your strength is extremely close to that of the quasi-immortal emperor. That's why I'm telling you, if it were someone else, haha, I would just kill him." Chen Luo pondered for a moment, then asked, "Then what does this great terror have to do with the true spirit? Will it make it impossible for you to preserve the true spirit? The powerful quasi-immortal emperor has already touched the limits of the world. He is a powerful person who should not exist in the first place, so he is called a forbidden powerful person. Once the true spirit of a forbidden strong person is leaked, he will face something very terrifying. That is an existence that no strong person can resist. So, what you said is, if you ask me to give up this body now, it is absolutely impossible for me to do it. If you insist on me, then I can only take this little girl's body and die together." Xue Xingsheng then replied, with firm eyes. Seeing such a determined snow star dome, Chen Luo's heart froze. He could feel that what this guy said was true. Chen Luo murmured in his heart, in this case, it would be a bit tricky. The true spirit of this quasi-immortal emperor could not get rid of Xue Xingsheng's body, and it was impossible to take back Xue Xingsheng's own body. This is simply a dead end. Chen Luo seemed to have thought of something, and then asked, "No, if your true spirit cannot leave the body, then how did you occupy the physical body of Xue Xingsheng? That is a secret belonging to our Zhendao world. I can't say anything about it. However, for the sake of you being Chen Luo's brother, I can reveal that it has something to do with the true ancestor of our Zhendao emperor. All the powerful quasi-immortal emperors and vampires have the power of the true ancestor." Xue Xingsheng said slowly, a hint of awe flashed in his eyes. "It has something to do with your true ancestor." Chen Luo's expression changed slightly. The true ancestor is the ancestor of their true Dao Emperor dynasty, and the supreme existence of their true Dao Emperor dynasty. His strength and foundation are unimaginable by ordinary people. According to the conversation with the Star Spirit Emperor just now, that true ancestor has gone a very far way in the realm of quasi-immortal emperor and is very powerful. These vampires and the quasi-immortal emperors of the Zhendao imperial dynasty actually have the power of the true ancestors in their bodies. It seems that the true ancestors of their Zhendao imperial dynasty are really terrifying people, Chen Luo murmured in his heart. Xue Xingsheng shrugged, and continued, "So, if you can reach the level of the true ancestor of our Zhendao Empire, maybe there is a way to rescue that little girl from Xue Xingsheng. Or, if you can find another way to carry my true spirit, I can't let this body go." Reach the level of your true ancestor, or find a way to carry the true spirit of the quasi-immortal emperor. Chen Luo let out a breath. Both methods were quite difficult, but compared to the former, the latter method was more reliable. After all, now Chen Luo has not even achieved the level of quasi-immortal emperor. It is really difficult to reach the level of the true Dao Emperor and the true ancestor. Chapter 656 Stupid Girl. It's not that Chen Luo is belittling himself, it's just that the further you get to the back of your cultivation, the more difficult it is to break through. Even though Chen Luo had systematic help and obtained countless opportunities, he was still only in the realm of the immortal King Ninth Heaven. I don't know how long it will take to completely reach the point where the true Dao Emperor becomes the true ancestor. When Chen Luo really breaks through that realm, perhaps Xue Xingsheng's physical body has long been occupied by this taboo powerhouse from the true Dao Emperor dynasty. In Chen Luo's opinion, it is more reliable to find the treasure that carries the true spirit of the quasi-immortal emperor. However, this guy is still quite good. Although he did not directly give up his body, he also told himself many secrets and also provided himself with some solutions. Thinking of this, Chen Luo looked at Xue Xingsheng with a soft look in his eyes. Looking at Chen Luo, who had a gentle look on his face, Xue Xingsheng's face turned red, and then he said shyly, "Brother Chen Luo, don't look at me like that, I'm afraid." Chen Luo ignored the shy Xue Xingsheng and asked straight to the point, "Why do you have to tell me so much?" In Chen Luo's view, Xue Xingsheng's physical body is now almost controlled by this strange and taboo strongman, and Chen Luo can feel that there is a very powerful force in this guy's body. Chen Luo discovered it during the previous battle. In other words, if she wanted to, she could leave him, and there was nothing she could do to stop her. However, she still chose to stay here. Xue Xingsheng was silent for a long time, and then said with a complex expression, "Actually, if possible, I don't want to occupy this little girl's body. I watched her grow up. My feelings for her are no less than anyone else's." "How many?" Chen Luo was slightly stunned, feeling a little unbelievable and not understanding what she meant at all. Soon, Chen Luo seemed to realize something and said quickly, "Watching her grow up, what do you mean?" Xue Xingsheng then sighed and said, "I died a long time ago, and only the fragments of my true spirit are left in Xingsheng's body. I watched her grow up slowly from a baby, trapped in loneliness alone. In the palace, I didn't have any friends, and I spent my youth alone. Of course, as she slowly became stronger, I also slowly recovered. Now that I have taken over her body, it is not what I want. I have no choice. So that's it." Chen Luo exhaled a breath. At this time, Chen Luo somewhat understood why this guy had inexplicable kindness towards him, and he didn't have any hostility towards other people in the Star Spirit tribe. This guy, like Snow Star Kyung, has feelings for the Star Spirit tribe. Chen Luo continued to ask, "Does Xingsheng know your existence?" "Of course, that kind little girl certainly knows that. In all my years of living, I have never seen such a stupid little girl. When I was a kid, this stupid girl actually let me take over my physical body and play role-playing games. What else are you talking about? In the future, we can use the same body, like the same person, and live for the same time. How could there be such a stupid girl?" Xue Xingsheng seemed to have thought of something, and his mood became depressed, with tears gathering in his eyes. After a while, Xue Xingsheng's delicate face was covered with tears, and the tears wet the clothes on her chest in a moment. Chapter 657 Jasmine. Looking at the girl who was depressed and already covered with tears, Chen Luo was silent, didn't say anything more, just waited quietly. After a while, Xue Xingsheng finally calmed down and wiped away the tears on his face. "Back then, when you had sex with this stupid girl, she couldn't bear it and asked me to take her place." Xue Xingsheng, who wiped away her tears, crawled out of the bed and threw herself directly into Chen Luo's arms. "In arms? When I had sex with her, you took her place?" Hearing the girl's words, Chen Luo's heart froze, and he felt an inexplicable emotion. Thinking of the fierce battle when we were separated last time, no wonder the little girl behind could withstand such a long battle, and her style changed back and forth, sometimes green, sometimes wild, sometimes pure. It turned out that it was not just her at that time. And this strange taboo power leveling. At this time, Chen Luo also understood why this guy was so defenseless against him, and didn't even think about being his enemy. Even if he forces her to give up her physical body, it is still a good communication with him. Chen Luo shook his head slightly, then patted the girl on the shoulder. His heart became even more determined. He must rescue Xingsheng. By the way, I still don't know your identity. Before Xingsheng comes back, use your own identity and don't pretend to be Snow Xingsheng. Chen Luo then said slowly. Although this guy has a close relationship with Xingsheng and does not have any ill intentions, Chen Luo still minds that this guy uses Xingsheng's identity. Xingsheng nodded, nestled in Chen Luo's arms, and said softly, "Brother Chen Luo, I listen to you. To me, my name is Jasmine." Jasmine. Chen Luo silently remembered this name in his heart. Chen Luo looked at Jasmine's pure and smart eyes, and then said slowly, "Jasmine, I will find a treasure that can carry the true spirit of the quasi-immortal emperor as soon as possible. Therefore, Xingsheng's true spirit consciousness must not harm her." Jasmine then said, "I understand, Brother Chen Luo, I will try my best to suppress my power, but I can only suppress it for 100 years at most. After 100 years, my true spirit will no longer be suppressed. Okay, within 100 years, I will definitely find a way." Chen Luo heard this and silently breathed a sigh of relief. No matter what, there are still 100 years left. As long as he finds the treasure within 100 years, or breaks through to the level of the true ancestor of the true Dao Emperor dynasty, he can solve this problem. Next, Chen Luo once again asked Jasmine many things about the true Dao Empire. Jasmine is the forbidden powerful quasi-immortal emperor of the true Dao Empire, and she knows many more things than the Star Spirit Emperor. During the conversation with Jasmine, Chen Luo also learned more about the huge Zhen Dao Empire. Especially the true ancestor of their Zhen Dao Empire was a taboo powerhouse who had been in the realm of quasi-immortal emperors for a long time. Once upon a time, there was a war within the Zhen Dao Empire. More than a dozen quasi-immortal emperors and forbidden powerful men from the Zhen Dao Empire joined forces to fight against the true ancestor. However, in just one breath, more than a dozen powerful quasi-immortal emperors who stood at the top of the universe were easily defeated without any resistance. Looking at it this way, your true ancestors are really powerful. When hearing Jasmine telling how the true ancestor easily defeated more than a dozen peak immortal emperors, Chen Luo couldn't help but sigh. Chapter 658 Calculation. Although Chen Luo has not yet entered the Forbidden Realm, it becomes increasingly difficult for a cultivator to fight against many powerful people of the same level in the later stage. After all, those who can cultivate to the level of Immortal King or even Quasi-Immortal Emperor are all outstanding people of the time, with countless trump cards and opportunities. It is very difficult to fight against multiple powerful people of the same level. Jasmine couldn't help but say, yes, if we couldn't feel the breath of the true ancestor, we would almost think that he had entered the realm above the taboo. He is so powerful that we can't even think of fighting him. After realizing the power of the true ancestor, Chen Luo didn't have too much fear in his heart, but instead raised a firmness. Since someone can reach this realm, then I can too. In a short period of time, he has achieved from immortal to the realm of the ninth heaven of the Immortal King, and his strength is even comparable to that of the quasi-immortal emperor. Naturally, Chen Luo has his own pride. I am never weaker than anyone. Give myself enough time, and I will eventually be able to transcend everything. After understanding the affairs of the true Dao Empire, Chen Luo asked Jasmine to continue to rest. I sent a message to many powerful people in the ancient immortal city, asking them to pay attention to powerful treasures that can carry the true spirit of a quasi-immortal emperor. After a while, Jasmine seemed to have thought of something, and then slowly said, "If you want to find a treasure that can carry the true spirit of a quasi-immortal emperor, you can try the Tianming Temple." The Tianming Temple is the oldest and most mysterious force in the chiming immortal realm. There may be some gains there. Temple of Destiny. Chen Luo nodded and remembered this force. He also remembered that a few years ago, he had an intersection with the goddess of the Tianming Temple. The goddess of the Tianming Temple, Li Ningshuang, gave him a jade pendant. Let him go to the Tianming Temple 10 years later and have a chance to step onto the level of the immortal king. In this case, I can go and have a look. Chen Luo made up his mind immediately. Although it was not yet 10 years, Chen Luo believed that he was now fully qualified to enter the Temple of Destiny and get what he wanted. Well, this is... At this moment, Chen Luo felt that a red spiritual line seemed to appear in the dark and was entangled with him. This red spiritual line, invisible and formless, was affecting his fate. Chen Luo hurriedly activated his fate void body and sensed the red spiritual line. In a moment, Chen Luo understood everything, and a deep cold breath appeared in his eyes, and even the surrounding space was completely frozen at this moment. "Brother Chen Luo, what happened?" Jasmine, who was standing beside him, noticed Chen Luo's abnormality and asked hurriedly. Chen Luo shook his head, and then said lightly, "No, it's okay, there is a little mouse hiding in the dark trying to plot against me." "Brother Chen Luo, who on earth dares to plot against you?" Jasmine was stunned. She didn't expect that someone would dare to plot against Chen Luo. Jasmine could feel that although Chen Luo was only at the 9th level of the Immortal King, he had a very strong power in his body. Jasmine, as a forbidden strongman, couldn't see through this power, and felt the deep coldness. Obviously, Chen Luo's strength was no less than that of an ordinary quasi-immortal emperor forbidden strongman. Now someone dared to plot against Chen Luo, it was simply too bold, tired of living. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 659 Investigation. Chen Luo did not speak, but slowly operated the power of the fate void body, and through the red spiritual line in the dark, began to explore the source of this cause and effect. After practicing to the realm of the 9th heaven of the Immortal King, Chen Luo can already use the many mysterious powers of the fate void body. When it comes to his own cause and effect destiny, he can explore it more clearly. Even if the forbidden strongman such as the quasi-immortal emperor calculated Chen Luo could detect it. Is it someone from the Boundary Sea? After a while, Chen Luo found out that the power that calculated him had a very close relationship with the Boundary Sea. In other words, it was the strong man on the Boundary Sea who was calculating him and wanted to harm him. Someone from the Boundary Sea? Why would someone from the Boundary Sea calculate brother Chen Luo? Jasmine on the side was stunned and asked in confusion. Having stayed in the chiming immortal realm for a long time, Jasmine naturally knew what kind of force the Boundary Sea belonged to. That was the guardian guarding the edge of the immortal world, and its strength was extremely powerful. There are real quasi-immortal emperors in the Boundary Sea. Although they do not directly govern the chiming immortal realm, all the forces in the chiming immortal realm dare not disobey the call and order of the Boundary Sea. This is also the reason why no force dared to refuse when the Boundary Sea summoned the powerful and proud people from the top forces in the chiming immortal realm to go to the Boundary Sea to fight. The existence of the quasi-immortal emperor is enough to suppress all dissatisfaction and any opposition. However, because of the strength of the Boundary Sea generally does not interfere in the affairs of the chiming immortal realm, let alone deal with the cultivators who plot against the chiming immortal realm. Such a thing has never happened before, so Jasmine is so surprised. Chen Luo did not speak, but continued to operate the power of the fate void body and continued to explore the source of this calculation. It's not the quasi-immortal emperor of the Boundary Sea, but just a small fish in the realm of the immortal king of the Boundary Sea, who has set his eyes on my treasure. After a while, Chen Luo opened his eyes and spoke lightly, with an extremely cold tone. With the help of the powerful force of the Fate Void body, Chen Luo has already explored everything in Zijing clearly. Jasmine on the side hugged Lin Xian's arm tightly, and hit Chen Luo with her softness, and then volunteered, "So that's how it is, brother Chen Luo, do you want me to help you deal with that little bastard? He's just a guy in the realm of the Immortal King, and I can still easily control him now." Although Xue Xingsheng's body is only at the realm of the Great Emperor at this time. However, Jasmine is a forbidden strongman in the true Dao world after all, and still has a lot of hidden means. It's not possible to deal with perverts like Chen Luo and strongmen of the same level, but there are still countless ways to deal with the Immortal King strongmen under the taboo. Chen Luo glanced at Jasmine calmly, and then slowly said, "That guy is a person that the quasi-immortal Emperor Fire Ancestor of the Boundary Sea values. If you go to deal with him, and he finds you, is there any way to solve it?" Oh, this really won't work, oh, brother Chen Luo." Jasmine's delicate face suddenly turned bitter, and she acted like a spoiled child to Chen Luo. After all, she is not a forbidden strongman from the native chiming immortal realm, and her true spirit origin is still very different from this world. If Jasmine goes to deal with the trash that the Fire Ancestor values as Chen Luo said, she is likely to be discovered by the quasi-immortal Emperor Fire Ancestor of the Boundary Sea. Chapter 660, Birth. By then, even if Jasmine can kill that trash, she will face the scrutiny of the quasi-immortal Emperor Huoziu of the Realm Sea. At that time, Jasmine will not be as comfortable as she is now. Even if she is suppressed by him, it is very likely. After all, although the true Dao world did not invade the chiming immortal realm, its essence is different from that of the chiming immortal realm and it is an outsider. Those who are not of my race must have different hearts. Jasmine still understands this truth. Even if she really has no other ideas, her identity is doomed, and Huoziu will not look at her normally. I'd better do it myself. After all, it's better to be cautious when it comes to Huoziu. Chen Luo said lightly, his eyes full of coldness. Jasmine nodded. It is indeed safer to deal with such a forbidden strongman. There are still not enough people and the foundation is too shallow. It seems that I also need to subdue more top strongmen. Chen Luo looked into the distance, sighed in his heart, and had the idea of subduing more top strongmen. Although Chen Luo's strength is already very strong, because Chen Luo's strength is improving too fast. The disciples and elders of Tianzu Peak and Taigu Xianchang can't keep up with Chen Luo's improvement speed. Even though they are all talented, practice hard, and have the space-time God Tower, they still can't keep up with Chen Luo's improvement speed. As a result, there is a gap in the top combat power under Chen Luo. Once it comes to the top level of the Immortal King, Chen Luo has no one to use, and these things need Chen Luo to do it himself. Therefore, Chen Luo still hopes to have more top combat power to handle some things. After all, Chen Luo has a lot of things to do, and it is impossible to do everything by himself. Moreover, the situation in the chiming immortal realm is becoming more and more complicated, and the Boundary Sea is also carrying out a fierce struggle with the evil race outside the domain. Only with enough peak powerhouses can we have greater confidence in the future. However, for now, let's solve this matter first. Chen Luo quickly suppressed his thoughts and prepared to solve this matter that was calculated against him first. It's time for us to leave Xingling Fairyland. Chen Luo continued to say to Jasmine. The troubles in Xingling Fairyland have been solved, and Chen Luo is no longer needed for the remaining minor details. Jasmine nodded. She was already looking forward to leaving Xingling Fairyland and taking a look at other areas of chiming Fairyland. Jasmine has always been in the same body with Xue Xingsheng, and has not explored other territories too much. Now that she can leave Xingling Fairyland with Chen Luo, she is quite happy. Then, Chen Luo came to the palace of Xingling Emperor and told him about Xue Xingsheng. In the luxurious palace, Xingling Emperor was still immersed in the grief of Xue Xingsheng's body being occupied. After knowing that Xuezingsheng still had hope of recovery, Xingling Emperor burst into tears and looked extremely excited. It took a while for him to calm down. However, when he looked at Jasmine and Xuezingsheng, Xingling Emperor's heart was still full of complicated sadness. He knew that this familiar body was no longer his daughter. Then, Chen Luo proposed to take Xuezingsheng away. Xingling Emperor naturally agreed. Xuezingsheng's current situation, following Chen Luo's side, is the best choice. Chen Luo, then Xingsheng is in your hands. Xingling Emperor held Chen Luo's hand and said sincerely. Chapter 661 Disappearance. No problem, leave it to me, I will definitely solve it. Chen Luo said firmly. Looking at the determined Chen Luo in front of him, Xingling Huang felt a little more relieved. Fortunately, there was Chen Luo, otherwise. Jasmine stood quietly beside him, noble and cold, exuding a temperament that no one should approach. After a round of greetings, Chen Luo said goodbye to Xingling Huang. Senior Xingling Huang, I still have some things to deal with, so I'll leave first. Xingling Huang nodded, suppressed many thoughts in his heart, and continued, Chen Luo, thank you this time, you saved our Xingling tribe again. If there is anything that our Xingling tribe needs to do in the future, just speak up. Although my old bones are not as good as you young people, I am still capable of handling other things. No problem, Senior Xingling Huang, I won't be polite. Chen Luo smiled. Chen Luo seemed to have thought of something, and then whispered, by the way, Senior Xingling Emperor, Xing Tong has entered the Chiming Immortal Realm with me, and is now in the Chaos Demon Immortal Realm. You can visit her anytime. After hearing Chen Luo's words, Xingling Emperor was excited again, and said in a trembling voice, Xing Tong, has Xing Tong also come up to the Immortal Realm? Yes, she has come up, and is practicing in the Chaos Demon Immortal Realm. You can visit her anytime with this identity token. Chen Luo nodded, then took out a token belonging to Tianzi Peak and handed it to Xingling Emperor. Xingling Emperor took the token handed over by Chen Luo, and his eyes were full of expectation and excitement. Okay, Chen Luo, wait until I rearrange the magic array of Xingling Immortal City, I will go to see Xing Tong, my daughter. Xingling Emperor took a deep breath and said slowly in a low voice. After handing the token to Xingling Emperor, Chen Luo did not waste any more time and left Xingling Immortal Realm directly. Chiming Immortal Realm, in a high place full of spiritual energy. A middle-aged man in a Taoist robe was riding an extremely powerful flying boat at high speed in the sky. There was an extremely ancient symbol on the flying boat, as well as a thread of terrifying array patterns. With the help of the array patterns, the flying boat was like a meteor, rushing towards the distance. The middle-aged man stood on the deck of the flying boat, holding an ancient compass that exuded a mysterious aura in his hand. It's almost there, the endless immortal sword, the endless immortal sword, the endless immortal sword must be mine, no one can take it away. Zhu Jing looked at the compass in his hand, his eyes full of excitement. There seemed to be an extremely rich source of power on this compass, which seemed to connect the entire Chiming Immortal Realm. You could clearly see an extremely bright light spot on it. As the flying boat continued to speed, the light spot was getting closer and closer to Zhu Jing's territory. After I seize the Wushong Immortal Sword, I will enter the forbidden area. By then, the entire world will respect me as the master, and even the fire ancestor can no longer order me around. Looking at the light spot getting closer and closer, Zhu Jing's heart was filled with excitement, and his body trembled slightly, as if he had already seen the scene of himself successfully seizing the Wushong Immortal Sword and becoming the new master of the Chiming Immortal World and the World Sea. Hey? The Wushong Immortal Sword disappeared? How is it possible? I could sense it just now. After a while, the light spot on the compass disappeared, and Zhu Jing's face suddenly became extremely ugly. Chapter 662 Fall. Did that guy leave the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm with the Endless Immortal Sword? Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. Zhu Jing murmured in a low voice, his eyes full of disbelief. This compass was made by a top weapon refiner in their realm C. As long as you put in the relevant aura, you can explore the trace distance of anything in the Scarlet Bright Immortal world. Even the Supreme Immortal King has no means of concealment under this source compass. Unless that thing leaves the Scarlet Bright Immortal realm. However, according to the compass inspection just now, the Endless Immortal Sword is still not far away, and is still within the scope of the Scarlet Bright Immortal realm. It is absolutely impossible to leave the Scarlet Bright Immortal realm at this moment. This is unreasonable. Does that guy have some treasure and hide the everlasting immortal sword? Zhu Jing speculated in his heart, and many thoughts came up. When it came to the everlasting sword, Zhu Jing was very concerned about it. He finally had such an opportunity to obtain such a top-quality treasure, and he didn't want it to disappear for no reason. Whoosh whoosh. At this time, the source compass suddenly sounded a low whistling sound. Zhu Jing looked intently and saw that the light spot belonging to the Endless Immortal Sword appeared again on the original compass. It's happened again. It seems there is something wrong with the compass. As long as the Endless Immortal Sword is still there, it's fine. Seeing the light spot reappearing, Zhu Jing slowly breathed a sigh of relief. No matter what, as long as the Endless Immortal Sword is still in the Scarlet Bright Immortal realm, Zhu Jing will have a way to get it. Wait, why is the distance between the Endless Sword, why is it so close? Suddenly, Zhu Jing's eyes narrowed, and his face suddenly turned extremely pale. On the compass, the distance between the light spots was already extremely close to the Zhu realm, as if it was very close. However, Zhu Jing did not see any trace of the Endless Immortal Sword anywhere. No, could it be? Zhu Jing seemed to realize something, and his body suddenly stiffened. Stab! At this time, a violent tearing sound suddenly appeared in the space outside the flying boat. The surrounding space seemed to be cut open by an inexplicable force, and a sword light with infinite destructive power flew out of the shattered space. The sword light containing infinite destructive power struck at Zhu Jing on the flying boat extremely quickly. No, it's not good, that's the power of the everlasting immortal sword. Seeing the sword light that suddenly shot out of the air, Zhu Jing's face became extremely ugly, and infinite fear filled his heart. In the midst of lightning and flint, under the extremely strong desire to survive, Zhu Jing instantly activated Fiashu's formation patterns and all the power on his body. Bang! However, this sword light had already come with an impact, rapidly hitting the flying boat. The terrifying array power that had just been activated on the flying boat was easily defeated, and the powerful flying boat was cut open by force. The sword light that cut through the flying boat did not stop and continued to attack Zhu Jing. Zhu Jing's hair stood on end, the original power in his body flowed crazily, and all defensive methods were fully deployed in an instant. Boom! The sword light and the power of Zhu Jing, as well as the power of the formation pattern on the flying boat, collided crazily, and an extremely violent impact broke out. The slightly swaying air waves instantly tore apart the surrounding space, causing countless spatial turbulences to emerge. As the violent air waves rippled, Fiashu and Zhu Jing, which were cut open, lost their defenses and were ravaged by the sword light. There was a scream, and Zhu Jing's body was stained with blood and fell downwards. Chapter 663 Attack. Bang! A violent collision sounded, and Zhu Jing's body fell straight into a huge forest under the sky. The huge forest was smashed into a huge deep pit by Zhu Jing's body. Countless terrifying auras were raging everywhere, turning the trees around the forest into pieces in an instant. The originally beautiful forest became like a ruin in an instant. In the deep pit, Zhu Jing's clothes were torn, trembling slightly, and countless blood slowly flowed out of his body. Zhu Jing's high-spirited face was pale and embarrassed at this time, and his eyes were full of fear and panic. After a while, in the clear sky, a handsome figure like a banished immortal slowly landed. You! Lord of the ancient immortal city, you! Do you know what you are doing? I am the evil suppressor of the Boundary Sea, how dare you attack the evil suppressor of the Boundary Sea without reason? Zhu Jing looked at Chen Luo, who was like a peerless banished immortal, and said with a trembling body. Zhu Jing didn't expect that Chen Luo would come to trouble him before he found him. Moreover, Chen Luo's strength far exceeded Zhu Jing's imagination. Zhu Jing is the evil suppressor of the Sea of Boundaries. He has reached the realm of the ninth heaven of the Immortal King. With his powerful strength and means, he is also an invincible giant among the Immortal Kings. He is an absolute strong man in the first echelon under the taboo. Zhu Jing thought he could easily control Chen Luo, but the facts were completely different from what Zhu Jing expected. Although there was the reason for Chen Luo's sneak attack, Zhu Jing also reacted. However, the terrifying and unparalleled attacking power and the destructive aura that destroyed everything easily broke through Zhu Jing's defense, leaving him in such an unfavorable situation. Chen Luo shook his head gently, walked slowly towards Zhu Jing, and said calmly, "The evil suppressor of the Sea of Boundaries? So what? I'm just a small fish." "Small fish? You dare to say I'm a small fish?" After hearing Chen Luo's words, Zhu Jing's pale face turned red. As the evil suppressor of the Sea of Boundaries, Zhu Jing is a real big shot with all-powerful hands and eyes. Even the leaders of the top forces in the chiming immortal realm are respectful in front of him and dare not offend him in the slightest. Not to mention, saying such words. Chen Luo's words are simply insulting Zhu Jing, which makes Zhu Jing's heart full of raging anger. Shua shua shua. Chen Luo did not speak, but flicked his fingertips lightly, and suddenly, a series of terrifying original forces turned into sharp swords and flew towards Zhu Jing's body. Swish! With a terrifying piercing and tearing sound, Zhu Jing's body was immediately pierced by the terrifying sword. The already broken body was leaking more blood, and Zhu Jing also let out a heart-wrenching scream. Chen Luo looked at Zhu Jing who was screaming and said lightly, "If I were you, I would correct my attitude, so that there might be a glimmer of hope." Looking at Chen Luo who looked indifferent, as if he was looking at a dead person, Zhu Jing's heart had completely sunk to the bottom. He felt the coldness under Chen Luo's calm eyes. "You, what do you want? I don't seem to have offended you, why did you attack me?" Zhu Jing forced himself to suppress the fear in his heart, and then said tremblingly. Chapter 664 Threat. At this time, Zhu Jing was not only frightened, but also full of confusion. After Zhu Jing decided to seize Chen Luo's endless immortal sword at the Black and White Dao Palace, he did not leak this matter to anyone. Moreover, after making up his mind, Zhu Jing took action immediately. Logically speaking, Chen Luo should not know that he was going to attack him. Now he was attacked by Chen Luo before he found him, which was completely beyond Zhu Jing's expectations. Chen Luo shook his head and said lightly, "Oh? Don't you want my endless immortal sword? How dare the evil suppressing envoy of the Boundary Sea dare to do it but not admit it? You! How could it be, fate? You actually comprehended the way of fate to such an extent, it's impossible, it's impossible, you are just a guy who stole the power of fate, how could it be possible, how could it be possible?" Hearing Chen Luo's words, Zhu Jing's face became even uglier, clenching his teeth and saying with disbelief. Without any leakage of the matter, Chen Luo knew this thing that had not happened yet. Obviously it was because of the power of fate. Originally, Zhu Jing thought that Chen Luo was just a guy who stole the power of destiny. Now it seems that it is different from what he expected. This powerful sensitivity to destiny obviously means that the way of destiny has reached a very high level. Chen Luo said lightly, "Steal destiny? Do you think I am a waste like you? The power of destiny has always been in my hands." Hua hua hua. After speaking, Chen Luo activated his destiny void body. A powerful force surged wildly in Chen Luo's body and slowly spread around. This force has the charm of twisting everything and dominating the world. The whole area seems to be completely covered by this force, as if it has completely disappeared in the chiming immortal realm. This is the power of destiny, you. How can you drive such a powerful power of destiny, how is this possible? Looking at the many powers that have spread around, Zhu Jing's heart is even more shocked. With his eyes, he could naturally feel that these emanations from Chen Luo were all terrifying destiny forces, supreme destiny forces that could distort, obscure, and change everything. Under the influence of this destiny force, Zhu Jing and everything around him seemed to be completely isolated from the original world, and even stripped off the trajectory of the Qiming immortal realm, entering a new taboo area of nothingness. What do you want to do? Feeling the terrifying destiny force around him, Zhu Jing's heart became increasingly uneasy and heavy, and he gritted his teeth. Those who dare to plot against me have always had only one end, that is death. Chen Luo raised his right hand lightly, and the endless immortal sword appeared in front of Chen Luo, with a majestic aura rising continuously. After all, Zhu Jing was from the Zhehe, and there was a forbidden strongman of the quasi-immortal emperor realm behind him, so Chen Luo still wanted to hide for a while. Use the power of destiny to cover all this and buy yourself some time. You want to kill me? I am the evil suppressor of Zhehe, and I am highly valued by Huozhu. If you dare to kill me, Huozhu will not let you go. Zhu Jing roared heartbreakingly. The people of Zhehe are really used to being high and mighty. At this critical moment of life and death, they still want to threaten me. Chen Luo shook his head lightly, his eyes full of sarcasm. Chapter 665, Slashing Realm. The defenders of Zhehe, because they have been guarding the border of the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm for a long time, are adjacent to and isolated from the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm. In addition, there are forbidden powerful men in the quasi-immortal Emperor Realm like Huo Ancestor in Zhehe. Therefore, when many of the guardians of the Zhehe Sea face the many monks in the Scarlet Bright Immortal World, they have a condescending attitude and do not take anyone in the Scarlet Bright Immortal World in their eyes at all. Chen Luo originally thought that this evil-suppressing envoy might be a little different, but unexpectedly, he had a virtue. Now that I have said my last words, it's time to hit the road. Chen Luo said calmly. Whoosh whoosh. After saying that, the endless immortal sword in front of Chen Luo released an even more terrifying spiritual power. The majestic spiritual power almost distorted everything around him. Immediately afterwards, under the urging of Chen Luo, the immortal sword of endlessness rushed towards Zhu Jing's body with great speed. No, no, no. When Zhu Jing saw the endless immortal sword that contained endless offensive power, he immediately understood that Chen Luo really didn't care about his threat and must kill him. Thinking of this, Zhu Jing felt unprecedented panic in his heart. I can't die. I want to break through the forbidden realm of quasi-immortal emperor. I want to rule the heavens. Chen Luo, you can't kill me. Zhu Jing quickly shouted sharply. Stab. However, Chen Luo didn't want to give this Zhu realm any chance anymore. The endless immortal sword with infinite offensive power had flown to the front of Zhu realm in a moment. He slashed hard towards Zhu Jing's body. Zhu Jing's eyes widened, his body kept shaking, and his strong desire to survive made him completely burn his own origin in an instant. Whoosh whoosh. Burning the original power of the immortal king, golden auras immediately appeared around Zhu Jing. The golden spiritual light exuded a majestic aura and resisted the attacking power of the endless immortal sword. The power of the endless immortal sword and the power of the golden aura collided with each other, and large areas of the surrounding space collapsed, seemingly falling into a complete collapse. It seems that this evil-suppressing envoy of Zhehe has something to offer, but no one can stop the person I want to kill. Seeing that Zhu Jing was able to resist him slightly in such a situation, Chen Luo had a hint of surprise in his eyes. However, he was soon completely suppressed by it. So what if there are some means, now he, under the quasi-immortal emperor, can crush him at will? Boom! Then, Chen Luo flicked his fingers, and a majestic Deluo immortal power flowed towards the endless immortal sword. After receiving the blessing of Chen Luo's Deluo immortal power, the everlasting immortal sword became more powerful and exuded an even more terrifying aura. Zhu Jing, who was resisting the endless immortal sword with all his strength, felt the increasingly terrifying endless immortal sword, and felt complete despair in his heart. At this time, he already regretted why he thought of provoking Chen Luo and trying to seize his endless immortal sword. Will it be a simple person who can be recognized by the immortal sword? While Zhu Jing's thoughts were raging, the endless immortal sword, which had received the immortal power of Chen Luo de Luo, had completely destroyed the terrifying golden aura released by Zhu Jing. Countless golden auras turned into debris and swayed around. Then, the endless immortal sword, which shattered the golden aura, continued to slash at Zhu Jing. Bang! With a violent collision, Zhu Jing, who was completely in despair, was completely overwhelmed by the offensive power of the endless immortal sword. Chapter 666 Field. No. Zhu Jing's eyes widened, and his heart was completely despaired and collapsed. Countless negative emotions, unwillingness and regret surged in Zhu Jing's heart. Bang bang bang! With a burst of extremely fierce collisions, the terrifying attacking power carried by the Wushong immortal sword tore Zhu Jing's body apart like tofu. Countless blood and broken meat, as well as fierce spiritual power, continued to wreak havoc. Looking at Zhu Jing, who was completely killed by the Wushong immortal sword, Chen Luo's eyes had no emotions. No matter who wants to plot against him, they have to pay the price of blood, even the people of the Boundary Sea. Now that Zhu Jing's matter has been resolved, it's time to go to the Tianming Temple. The opportunities above the Immortal King and the treasures that can carry the true spirit of the quasi-immortal emperor may all be in the Tianming Temple. After Chen Luo took back the Wushong immortal sword, he continued to murmur in a low voice. After talking with Jasmine and knowing that the Temple of Destiny might have treasures that could carry the true spirit of a quasi-immortal emperor, Chen Luo planned to go to the Temple of Destiny. After all, Chen Luo was still very concerned about the safety of Shuizingsheng. If this matter could be resolved as soon as possible, it would be better to resolve it as soon as possible. Then, Chen Luo dispelled the terrifying spiritual power around him, used his spiritual power to flow forward, and took out the space ring belonging to Zhu Jing from the endless ruins in front of him. Yes, this Zhu Jing is worthy of being the evil-suppressing envoy of the Boundary Sea, and he has quite a lot of treasures on him. After forcibly erasing the mark of the space ring, Chen Luo looked at the space ring in his hand and felt satisfied. In Zhu Jing's space ring, Chen Luo found a large number of various resource spiritual objects, including some top-level Immortal King-level divine objects. Various immortal crystals and strange objects were almost piled up into small mountains. Chen Luo even found that there were 2 Immortal King weapons in Zhu Jing's space ring, which exuded an extremely terrifying aura. The layers of treasures and various top resource spirits exude extremely rich spiritual power of heaven and earth and the power of origin. Then go to the Temple of Destiny as soon as possible. There should be no problem in killing Zhu Jing in this Destiny Void Realm. Chen Luo looked at the slowly calming surroundings and then said slowly. This Destiny Void Realm is a powerful realm built by Chen Luo with the help of the power of the Destiny Void Body. In this realm, there is a huge amount of power belonging to the Destiny Void Body. In this realm, because of the existence of the Destiny Void power, killing Zhu Jing here will not be observed by any existence outside the realm. Even if it is a forbidden strongman in the quasi-immortal emperor realm, it is impossible to penetrate this Destiny Void Realm and discover what is happening in the Destiny Void Realm. This is why Chen Luo wants to unfold the Destiny Void Realm. It is not difficult to kill Zhu Jing, but Zhu Jing is still the evil suppressor of the Boundary Sea after all, and there is a forbidden strongman in the quasi-immortal emperor realm behind him. If it is not necessary, Chen Luo does not want to have too many conflicts with the forbidden strongmen of the real quasi-immortal emperor realm. If he is not strong enough, even if Chen Luo is right, he does not have enough confidence. Hua hua hua! Just as Chen Luo put away the endless immortal sword and prepared to leave, not far away, in the area covered by countless blood and broken flesh, there were waves of extremely terrifying space distortions. Chapter 667 Appearance. Chen Luo narrowed his eyes and looked at the area in front of him where the power was twisted. I saw that in the flesh and blood that had completely turned into flesh and blood fragments, there were mysterious powers gathering. It seemed that there was an extremely powerful and mysterious power in Zhu Jing's flesh and blood. These mysterious powers were twisting the surrounding space and constantly condensing. Various colors of spiritual light and power intertwined with each other, as if it was a wonder between heaven and earth. What kind of power is this? Seeing the power that twisted everything, Chen Luo frowned slightly, and a sense of vigilance rose in his heart. He could feel that the power was extremely powerful, and it was accompanied by a power that almost twisted time and space. This power far surpassed the aura of Zhu Jing and was extremely terrifying. Could it be that Zhu Jing still has some trump card? He is not dead yet. Impossible, his fate trajectory has been completely wiped out, and there is no hope of life. Chen Luo guessed in his heart, his eyes were extremely sharp. Because of the existence of the fate void body, Chen Luo's control over the power of fate has reached a very terrifying level. He even created the extremely powerful original destiny magic of the fate void realm. Chen Luo could feel that Zhu Jing's destiny trajectory was completely erased, and there was no possibility of survival. That could never be Zhu Jing's power. Then someone implanted a special power in Zhu Jing's flesh and blood, which was not Zhu Jing's power. After a moment, Chen Luo quickly understood that the power belonged to someone else in Zhu Jing's flesh and blood. After a while, the power emitted by Zhu Jing's flesh and blood was completely gathered, and the twisted power reached its extreme. Who are you? How dare you kill the evil suppressing envoy of my Sea of Boundaries? Along with this twisted power, there was also a low and hoarse voice with vicissitudes of life. This voice carried the breath of suppressing the world, as if it was the eternal abyss, which made Chen Luo's fate void realm appear a little solidified. Then, in the twisted space, a fiery red aura slowly emerged. After the appearance of this fiery red spiritual light shadow, the temperature of the entire fate void realm rose sharply, and the extremely hot breath quickly filled the area of the fate void realm. Even Chen Luo, who had reached the 9th level of the Immortal King and mastered the immortal power of Dao Luo, felt a little bit of heat. Those hot breaths, like the pervasive air, filled every corner of the fate void realm. Hua hua hua. After a while, the shadow of the spiritual light shadow became clear. A middle-aged man with a tall figure wearing a white Taoist robe appeared in the fate void realm. This middle-aged man has an extremely powerful immortal power around him, and countless spiritual lights and hot breaths are constantly swimming. He just stood there, like the master of heaven and earth, giving people a sense of awe and fear that they could not look directly at. It's the fire ancestor of the Sea of Boundary. Looking at the middle-aged man who suddenly appeared in the spiritual light shadow, Chen Luo took out the Wushong immortal sword again. At the same time, the many original powers in the body and the Dao Luo immortal power were also pushed to the limit. With such a terrifying aura of immortal flame power, Chen Luo couldn't think of anyone else except the fire ancestor of the Sea of Boundaries. Chapter 668 Calculation. It seems that this Zhu Jing is indeed highly valued by the quasi-immortal Emperor Taboo powerful fire ancestor. This fire ancestor actually left an immortal mark on Zhu Jing's flesh and blood. Chen Luo tightly held the everlasting immortal sword in his hand and slowly exhaled a breath of turbidity. The middle-aged man in front of him is not the true body of the fire ancestor, but the spiritual body of an immortal mark just like before in the black and white Dao Palace. Fire ancestor left an immortal mark in Zhu Jing's body, which can protect Zhu Jing. However, the realm of destiny's nothingness is too powerful, completely cutting off the power belonging to the immortal mark of the fire ancestor in Zhu Jing's flesh and blood. However, after Zhu Jing's death, the immortal mark in his flesh and blood still escaped and turned into the spiritual body of fire ancestor. After confirming that this middle-aged man was not the true form of the fire ancestor, Chen Luo felt inexplicably relieved. If it were just the spirit body of the fire ancestor, Chen Luo still had great confidence that he could defeat it, and there was no need to worry too much. It's not like Chen Luo has never killed the spiritual body of a powerful person in this realm. He wanted to seize my treasure, but I killed him. Chen Luo said slowly after his thoughts calmed down. After all, this guy is a powerful quasi-immortal emperor in their scarlet bright immortal realm, so Chen Luo is still willing to explain it a little bit. Zhu Jing wants to seize your treasure. The fire ancestor spiritual body in the center of the Destiny Void realm heard Chen Luo's words and frowned slightly. There seemed to be mysterious forces surging in that majestic body. The fire ancestor spirit looked straight at Chen Luo in front of him, seeming to be thinking about something. Yes, he was discovered by me in order to seize my treasure. I killed him in advance. Is there any problem? Chen Luo saw that the aura on Fire Ancestor's body was becoming more and more terrifying, and then said slowly, without the slightest fear in his eyes. Although the spiritual body of the Fire Ancestor is powerful, this realm of destiny and nothingness is extremely powerful. Even if this spiritual body is the spiritual body of a top quasi-immortal emperor such as the Fire Ancestor, it cannot break this realm and connect with the outside world. Area. As long as no real powerful quasi-immortal emperor comes, Chen Luo is confident to suppress all powerful people. Wait a moment, let me do some calculations. If it is really Zhu Jing's problem, then he will definitely die. After the Fire Ancestor spirit body was silent for a while, he took a deep look at Chen Luo and then said slowly. After saying that, the Fire Ancestor spiritual body slowly closed its eyes, and a mysterious power of immortal flames continued to flow around the Fire Ancestor spiritual body. The power of the immortal flame flows around the spiritual body of the Fire Ancestor in an extremely mysterious trajectory. The combination of that strange trajectory and the powerful power of the immortal flame seemed to break free from the origin of time and space, and the Fire Ancestor's spiritual thoughts escaped into the endless chaotic time and space. It seems that this Fire Ancestor is not the kind of guy who uses his power to bully others. Looking at the silently calculating Fire Ancestor's spiritual body, Chen Luo murmured in his heart. He originally thought that in the Sea of the Realm, the quasi-immortal Emperor Forbidden Power who had mastered the power of the immortal flame would be a domineering and boundless figure, without any reason at all. Now it seems that I am worrying too much. Anyone who can become a powerful quasi-immortal emperor must have his own magnanimity. Alas, fellow Taoist, I am not strict in my discipline. I never thought that among my evil-suppressing envoys, there would be people with such evil thoughts. I am really ashamed. After a while, the calculation of the Fire Ancestor's spiritual body seemed to be completed, with a slightly apologetic look on his face. Chapter 669, Enlightenment. Just now, the Fire Ancestor used the power of destiny to make a brief calculation, and indeed found that Zhu Jing had evil intentions and had many evil thoughts in his heart. Although most of Chen Luo's aura was hidden by destiny because of the existence of Chen Luo's destiny void body. However, the Fire Ancestor was also a person with outstanding talent and strength. He used the power of immortal flames and the powerful power of destiny to find some fragments of information in the chaotic time and space. Through the fragments of information in the chaotic time and space, the Fire Ancestor's spirit body easily detected it. It was indeed Zhu Jing who wanted to seize Chen Luo's treasure and tried to distort the facts. After that, he was completely wiped out by Chen Luo. Even in Zhu Jing's flesh and blood, the Fire Ancestor's spirit body could still feel the rich greed and unwillingness in this flesh and blood. If it weren't for Chen Luo's amazing strength, I'm afraid he would have become a dead soul under Zhu Jing's hands. It doesn't matter, since Zhu Jing is dead, let this matter go. Hearing the apology in the words of Huo Xiu, a forbidden strongman at the quasi-immortal emperor realm, Chen Luo did not blame this matter too much. After all, this matter was only between him and Zhu Jing, and had nothing to do with Huo Xiu. Huo Xiu had been guarding the safety of the Qiming immortal realm in the Boundary Sea, and Chen Luo still admired him. If there were no strong men at the peak realm like Huo Xiu guarding the Boundary Sea all the time, The entire Qiming immortal realm might have been ravaged by countless foreign evil tribes and fell into the destruction of all living things. Well, fellow deist, this matter is wrong with our boundary sea. I was busy dealing with those damn foreign evil tribes, and I fell behind in managing the mentality of these strong men in the boundary sea. Huo Zia sighed softly, his tone was extremely low. I apologize to you on behalf of Zhu Jing. This is my little compensation. I hope you can accept it. There was a flash of fire in the eyes of Huo Zia's spirit body, and then he continued slowly. Day. After saying that, the fire ancestor's spirit body flicked its fingertips, and a mysterious spiritual light condensed in the body of the fire ancestor's spirit body. This mysterious spiritual light fragment flew towards Chen Luo's body with great speed. The surrounding space was easily broken by this spiritual light fragment and arrived in front of Chen Luo. Chen Luo opened his hand and easily took this mysterious spiritual light fragment. This is... After taking the spiritual light fragment, Chen Luo narrowed his eyes slightly and carefully felt the many auras in this spiritual light fragment. This spiritual light fragment contains many mysterious and obscure information. These obscure information made Chen Luo, who had a chaotic immortal body, feel complicated, as if facing a vast galaxy. However, some of the obscure information made Chen Luo's Deluo immortal power seem to vibrate a little, as if it was completely attracted by it. This is my understanding of breaking through the quasi-immortal Emperor realm. Fellow deist, you have already reached the 9th level of the Immortal King realm, right? This thing may be of some help to you. The fire ancestor's spirit body looked at Chen Luo in front of him, and then slowly said, telling Chen Luo the information about this thing. This is your understanding of breaking through the quasi-immortal emperor, such a precious thing. Hearing the words of the fire ancestor's spirit body, Chen Luo's pupils shrank, and his heart was extremely shocked, and his powerful heart was pounding. He didn't expect that this fire ancestor would be so generous and easily give him his understanding of breaking through the quasi-immortal emperor. Chapter 670 Recruitment. This kind of understanding is something that can be encountered but cannot be sought. After all, the powerful quasi-immortal emperor is a forbidden powerful person above the immortal king. Throughout the ages, I don't know how many supreme immortal kings have wanted to step into that field. However, in the countless years of the Scarlet Bright Immortal World, only a few can truly enter that realm. This taboo powerhouse's insight into breaking through the quasi-immortal emperor can be said to be of extremely high value. For those supreme immortal kings, it is a treasure that cannot be rejected at all. In a sense, this insight is even more precious than those top immortal king weapons. Although Chen Luo has a certain degree of confidence in entering the taboo field, if he can have such a realization, it will definitely be of huge benefit. It can even greatly shorten the time for Chen Luo to enter that field. Thank you, Fire Ancestor, this thing is really helpful to me, so I will accept it. Chen Luo took a deep breath, and then spoke in a deep voice to the Fire Ancestor spirit body in front of him, which was exuding a majestic aura. This realization of breaking through the realm of quasi-immortal emperor is a rare treasure that Chen Luo cannot refuse at all. You're welcome, Zhu Jing made a mistake first, and I also hope that our human race can have one more peak powerhouse in the quasi-immortal emperor realm. The fire ancestor spiritual body looked at Chen Luo in front of him, with the majestic power of immortal flames flowing in his eyes, and then said with a solemn expression. As expected, this fire ancestor is truly an extraordinary person. Hearing the words of the fire ancestor spirit body, Chen Luo couldn't help but feel a trace of respect in his heart. Fellow deist, our Jihai is now in a period of employing people. I don't know if you are interested in joining our Jihai. As long as you join our Jihai, you will be the number 2 person in our Jihai, and your status is only below me. After a while, the fire ancestor spiritual body spoke slowly again, looking straight at Chen Luo in front of him. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Invite me to join Jihai. Chen Luo raised his eyebrows, not expecting that fire ancestor was actually planning to recruit him. That's right, those guys from the evil tribe outside the territory are getting more and more restless now. The battle in the Boundary Sea has reached a fierce stage. If fellow Taoists join in, it will definitely relieve a lot of pressure. In the Boundary Sea there are more unique laws of heaven and earth in it, and our Boundary Sea also has various top-notch spiritual lands. After fellow Taoists come to our Boundary Sea, it may be possible to speed up the time to enter the realm of the quasi-immortal emperor. After the fire ancestor spirit body pondered for a moment, he then slowly spoke to Chen Luo, his eyes full of firm expectation. Chen Luo narrowed his eyes slightly and fell into deep thought. After entering the immortal realm, Chen Luo obtained a lot of information. The Boundary Sea was constantly recruiting many top experts to fight in the Boundary Sea. Moreover, the frequency and number of solicitations are increasing. The many forces in the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm have all recruited many strong men to enter the Realm Sea and engage in terrifying struggles with the evil races outside the realm. Not only those ordinary forces, but even the top immortal king families could not refuse. At the request of Zhehe, they sent a large number of top powerhouses to fight in Zhehe. Even in Chen Luo's Teiku Immortal City, many monks were recruited and left. Among the recent intelligence, Chen Luo also received a lot of information about the Boundary Sea. The current struggle in the Boundary Sea is indeed as the Fire Ancestor said. It has reached a white-hot battle and is extremely fierce. Chapter 671 Rejection. At this time, in the Boundary Sea, a large number of cultivators lost their lives every day because of fighting with the evil tribes outside the domain. Although Chen Luo did not have specific data, when he was with Xia Qingqing and others before, Xia Qingqing roughly said that nearly half of the cultivators who entered the Boundary Sea now have completely lost their breath of life. Now the limit of the strong people recruited by the Boundary Sea is getting lower and lower. Before, they recruited emperors and above, and now, they have slowly recruited top strong people below the emperor. If he joined the Boundary Sea, Chen Luo's heart was a little hesitant. No, Fire Ancestor, I still have things to do in the chiming immortal realm, I still like to be free. As for those evil tribes outside the domain, even if I don't join the Boundary Sea, I will enter the Boundary Sea in the future and fight those guys. After a while, Chen Luo took a deep breath, and then slowly said, rejecting the recruitment of the Fire Ancestor's spirit body. Joining the Sea of Realm can certainly give you a very high status, and even have many top spiritual places to help you practice, but Chen Luo has always been a free person. Because of these things, tying your freedom to the Sea of Realm is not what Chen Luo wants. Moreover, Chen Luo knows clearly that in this world, whether it is the chiming immortal realm or the Sea of Realm, or even other big worlds, the only thing that matters is your own strength, and only your own strength is the most important. Those powers, resources, and spiritual objects are all external things. When your strength is improved, those things will naturally come in an endless stream. Okay, then I will wait for you in the Sea of Realm. The Fire Ancestor's spirit body heard this, and there was not much emotional fluctuation, but continued to speak calmly. Chen Luo then nodded and said, well, I will definitely go. Chen Luo also hated the evil tribes outside the domain. If there was a chance, Chen Luo would definitely not let go of those terrifying and evil tribes outside the domain. After Chen Luo rejected the offer from the Fire Ancestor Spirit, the Fire Ancestor Spirit continued, this is our identity token of the Sea of Boundaries. If you encounter any trouble in the chiming immortal realm, you can use this token, which may help resolve some unnecessary crises. After saying that, the Fire Ancestor Spirit raised his right hand lightly, and a mysterious stream of light quickly flew towards Chen Luo's hand. Chen Luo took over the mysterious stream of light, and a simple token with mysterious Taoist patterns was revealed in the stream of light. On this simple token, in addition to the mysterious Taoist patterns, there is also a fire character that exudes a murderous meaning. The fire character is engraved in the center of the simple token, as if it has life, jumping slightly, and strands of hot breath flow on it. Hwa wah wah. After the fire ancestor spirit handed the token to Chen Luo, it turned into scattered spiritual light and disappeared into the realm of destiny and nothingness. After the fire ancestor spirit dissipated, the hot breath in the realm of destiny and nothingness also slowly disappeared. The slightly boiling and hot space slowly became cold. Has the fire ancestor's spirit body left? He is indeed a forbidden master, and he can leave my fate void realm freely. Looking at the fire ancestor's spirit body that has disappeared, Chen Luo's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. This fate void realm has a lot of the fate power of Chen Luo's fate void body, which contains extremely powerful power and isolates all breath. Chapter 672 Tea Tree. Chen Luo estimated that even if the fallen evil emperor's law body firepower that he encountered in the black and white Dao Palace was fully activated, it would be impossible to break through this realm of destiny and nothingness. However, this fire ancestor spirit body did not emit any terrifying aura at all, and easily left this realm of destiny and nothingness. Obviously, this fire ancestor has gone a long way in the realm of the quasi-immortal emperor, and his strength is much stronger than that of the fallen evil emperor. However, Chen Luo was not surprised. After all, the fire ancestor, with the power of a quasi-immortal emperor, had guarded the boundary sea for so long and resisted many evil races from outside the territory. If they didn't have enough strength, they would have been broken through by those evil alien tribes long ago. Next, let's take a look at this fire ancestor's insights into breaking through to the quasi-immortal emperor, and see if he can make a new breakthrough in my path to the quasi-immortal emperor. Chen Luo then put away his thoughts and looked at the breakthrough quasi-immortal emperor that belonged to the fire ancestor in his hand. However, if you want to understand these insights quickly, you still need some help. Chen Luo narrowed his eyes slightly, and then took out a tea tree of enlightenment that exuded a mysterious aura from the space ring. This enlightenment tea tree is the spiritual object of heaven and earth that Chen Luo signed in before. Practicing under the enlightenment tea tree can greatly improve your understanding. It's a pity that my disciples are too low level now. With their current strength, they can't even understand it superficially. Chen Luo seemed to think of something, and then murmured in his heart. With the top-notch cultivation bonding effect, Chen Luo's personal disciples who practice various magical powers can also return them to Chen Luo dozens of times. However, as Chen Luo's realm improved, although those disciples were most talented in the world, the gap between them and Chen Luo was still unimaginably huge. Now, their insights can no longer help Chen Luo. It's also a worry if the strength improves too fast, Chen Luo thought in his heart. Immediately afterwards, Chen Luo didn't think much, but placed the enlightenment tea tree in the center of the void field of destiny. At the same time, a lot of tea leaves from the Wuodao tea tree were picked, and the precious fairy-level spiritual fluid was taken out. Hu ho ho! Chen Luo put the fairy-level spiritual liquid and enlightenment tea leaves in an exquisite and luxurious white jade vessel, activated a top-notch spiritual fire, and began to brew the best enlightenment tea for himself. After a while, as the spiritual fire continued to release its scorching breath, a faint alluring fragrance emitted from the white jade vessel. This scent is refreshing and moving, making the surrounding world seem to become much more active. The enlightenment tea tree behind Chen Luo also exudes an unusually mysterious spiritual light, which keeps rushing towards Chen Luo. In the spiritual light released by the enlightenment tea tree, Chen Luo felt that countless inspirations burst out in his mind, and his brain became extremely clear. It smells so good. This is the enlightenment tea tree. Brother Chen Luo, you actually have the enlightenment tea tree. At this moment, a crisp and sweet voice sounded in Chen Luo's ears. Behind Chen Luo, the space in the destiny void realm fluctuated slightly, and there was a trace of distortion. Whoosh whoosh! Following a terrifying space distortion, the pure and charming Jasmine, wearing a white dress, excitedly walked out of the space. Jasmine walked out of the twisted space with a look of joy on her face, looking straight at the enlightenment tea tree behind Chen Luo. Chapter 673 Divine Liquid. In order to prevent accidents from happening, Jasmine has been hiding beside Chen Luo, concealing her aura. It's just an enlightened tea tree, is there any need to make a fuss? Looking at Jasmine, who was a little shocked and happy, Chen Luo frowned slightly and said in confusion. Although the enlightenment tea tree has a very powerful enlightenment effect, Chen Luo did not pay too much attention to it. After all, he has many top-notch physiques and his understanding is already extremely powerful. Using this enlightenment tea tree is just the icing on the cake. Jasmine is a forbidden expert in the quasi-immortal emperor realm. Now facing this enlightened tea tree, Chen Luo is really surprised that she is so rude. Of course, this is the enlightenment tea tree. It is also the best spiritual root in the world. Jasmine widened her eyes and stared at the enlightenment tea tree without blinking, as if the enlightenment tea tree had a great attraction for her. You said that this enlightenment tea tree can match the spiritual roots of heaven and earth? No, this is just an ordinary spiritual root of heaven and earth. Hearing Jasmine's words, Chen Luo was slightly stunned, and then asked in confusion. Although the enlightenment tea tree is precious, it is a kind of spiritual root of heaven and earth. However, there are many kinds of spiritual roots of heaven and earth. In the endless years, more spiritual roots of heaven and earth have been born. Among the many spiritual roots of heaven and earth, the enlightenment tea tree can only be regarded as ordinary. To say that the enlightenment tea tree is the best spiritual root of heaven and earth is completely nonsense. Could it be that Jasmine and the others in the great world of true Dao don't have many spiritual roots of heaven and earth, so Jasmine is so surprised? Chen Luo secretly guessed in his heart. This must be the case. Their true Dao world has a small number of spiritual roots of heaven and earth. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot, you are not from our Gen Dao world, so you don't know about this. Jasmine seemed to have thought of something, glanced at Chen Luo, and then said slowly. However, after glancing at Chen Luo, Jasmine continued to shift her gaze, looking straight at the enlightenment tea tree behind Chen Luo, not hiding the shock in her eyes at all. What is it? Could it be that this enlightenment tea has any secrets that we, the chiming world, don't know about? Chen Luo asked next, with a strange thought in his heart. From Jasmine's words, it seems that this enlightenment tea tree is not simple. Yes, this enlightenment tea tree does have some secrets that you, the chiming world, don't know about. This secret was discovered by the true ancestor of our true Dao world. The enlightenment tea tree contains extremely powerful Dao spiritual intelligence, which can enhance understanding and help comprehend various top-level magical powers. In addition to these powerful effects, the tree body of the enlightenment tea tree contains the legendary and extremely mysterious eternal divine liquid. Jasmine looked at the enlightenment tea tree behind Chen Luo, and then slowly told Chen Luo the secret about the enlightenment tea tree. The body of the enlightenment tea tree contains eternal divine liquid. As soon as Jasmine's words came out, Chen Luo's eyes lit up, and he looked straight at the enlightenment tea tree in front of him, his heart pounding. Are you telling the truth? Is there really eternal divine liquid in the body of this enlightenment tea tree? Chen Luo took a deep breath and continued to ask, looking expectantly at Jasmine beside him. Even though he was prepared, Chen Luo was still slightly shocked by Jasmine's words. Chapter 674 Secret. Eternal Divine Liquid is the top-level divine liquid in the legend, containing the most mysterious eternal power. Chen Luo had read in the classics that the eternal divine liquid could not only permanently improve one's understanding. At the same time, it has a very strong beneficial effect on mental strength, physical body, and cultivation. This is just the simplest effect of the eternal divine liquid. The eternal divine liquid also has a more powerful heaven-defying effect. Legend has it that if there is enough eternal divine liquid, the eternal divine liquid can be used to temper the heart of a monk. After being tempered by the eternal divine liquid, the monk's heart can be tempered into the eternal heart. After tempering into the eternal heart, the vitality will completely reach its extreme, and by mastering the power of eternity, the body and soul will become eternal. Even the taboo strong man in the quasi-immortal emperor realm cannot destroy the person who possesses the eternal heart. The monk of the heart. It can be said that having an eternal heart is equivalent to having eternal life. This is also the reason why Chen Luo lost his composure after hearing that there was eternal divine fluid in the enlightenment tea tree. That's right, our true ancestor used the eternal divine liquid in the enlightenment tea tree to temper half of his heart into the eternal heart. I guess that the blood secret method created by our true ancestor is also the same as that of our true ancestor's eternal heart. It's about half of the eternal heart. Jasmine pondered for a moment, then said slowly. There really is eternal divine liquid. After receiving Jasmine's confirmed answer, Chen Luo also suppressed the excitement in his heart, and his heart that had just been heaving slowly calmed down. Then where is this eternal divine liquid hidden in the enlightenment tea tree? I didn't realize at all that there is eternal divine liquid in this enlightenment tea tree. Chen Luo once again deployed his majestic soul power and flowed towards the enlightenment tea tree in front. After practicing for so long, Chen Luo's soul power has already reached the realm of the Immortal King, containing extremely powerful and sensitive perception power. Under Chen Luo's powerful soul power, all the secrets of the enlightenment tea tree were revealed, and Chen Luo saw through them completely. Every Dao pattern on it and every ounce of power radiated completely emerged in Chen Luo's sea of consciousness. However, no matter how powerful Chen Luo's soul power was, he still couldn't find any breath of eternal divine liquid on this enlightenment tea tree. Jasmine continued slowly, explaining the method of ingesting the eternal divine liquid. Our true ancestor also discovered it by accident. He said that the eternal divine liquid will appear only when the enlightenment tea tree is completely burned with flames. So that's it. No wonder no one has discovered the eternal divine liquid in the enlightenment tea tree for so many years. After hearing what Jasmine said, a look of understanding appeared on Chen Luo's face. The enlightenment tea tree is the spiritual root of heaven and earth, and has a very strong enlightenment effect. Practicing various magical powers and secret techniques has heaven-defying effects. Even for giants in the Immortal King realm, it is an extremely precious spiritual object. Therefore, after any monk gets the enlightenment tea tree, he will take good care of it and use all his efforts to cultivate it. It is absolutely impossible to burn the enlightenment tea tree with flames. Jasmine nodded, with a mysterious brilliance in her eyes. Yes, our true ancestor also discovered this method by chance. Otherwise, who would have known that we can use this method to absorb the eternal divine liquid from the enlightenment tea tree? Chapter 675 Burning. If Jasmine hadn't just seen the true ancestor using this method to absorb the eternal divine liquid from the enlightenment tea tree, Jasmine wouldn't have believed that the enlightenment tea tree would have the eternal divine liquid. In that case, let's try this method and see how much eternal divine liquid is in this enlightenment tea tree. Chen Luo took a deep breath and then said slowly. Now that he knew this method, Chen Luo would certainly not let go of the eternal divine liquid in this enlightenment tea tree. Once it was tempered into the eternal heart, Chen Luo's foundation and origin would rise again, which was completely incomparable to the enlightenment effect of the enlightenment tea tree. Hua hua hua. After making up his mind to absorb the eternal divine liquid from the enlightenment tea tree, Chen Luo immediately urged his majestic spiritual power and began to quickly collect the enlightenment tea leaves on the enlightenment tea tree. After all, this enlightenment tea leaves still had some value, and picking all these enlightenment tea leaves would not affect Chen Luo's absorption of the eternal divine liquid. Of course, Chen Luo would not waste these precious enlightenment tea leaves. Under Chen Luo's powerful spiritual power, the enlightenment tea leaves containing the spiritual patterns of the great Dao on the enlightenment tea tree were quickly and slowly collected. Not long after, all the enlightenment tea leaves that were originally lush and leafy on the enlightenment tea tree were collected. The sacred luster of the enlightenment tea tree became bare. Although it still had a lot of spiritual energy and the power of the great Dao, it had become much weaker. After collecting the enlightenment tea leaves, let's start and burn this enlightenment tea tree. Chen Luo took a deep breath and put the enlightenment tea leaves he had just collected into his space ring. Ho ho ho. After collecting the enlightenment tea leaves, Chen Luo urged a terrifying spiritual fire. The temperature of the entire fate void field rose again after the spiritual fire appeared. Jasmine on the side also held her breath, staring at Chen Luo's actions in front of her. After summoning the spiritual fire, Chen Luo did not hesitate to send the spiritual fire towards the bare Wuodao tea tree. The spiritual fire that released the surging breath quickly searched the Wuodao tea tree. Hwa wah wah. The Wuodao tea tree burned by the spiritual fire made a low whistling sound, and the tree trunk and branches that were originally crisp and full of spiritual energy quickly became dry and rotten. When the Wuodao tea tree was burned, the Wuodao tea tree exuded a more intense light of the avenue. There were also strands of strange fragrance slowly drifting out from the burning Wuodao tea tree. As time passed slowly, the trunk and branches of the Wuodao tea tree continued to become dry and rotten, and the mysterious fragrance became more and more intense. Half a quarter of an hour later, as the trunk of the Wuodao tea tree continued to burn into ashes, drops of divine liquid exuding a mysterious breath appeared in the area that turned into ashes. This divine liquid is golden in color. Although the quantity is very rare, the aura it emits is extremely terrifying, making the space of the entire fate void realm much heavier, giving people a sense of eternal sacred oppression. Eternal divine liquid, the eternal divine liquid really appeared. Looking at the golden divine liquid that appeared, Chen Luo's eyes were firmly attracted. This golden divine liquid is obviously the eternal divine liquid with eternal power in the legend. Jasmine on the side was the same, staring at the golden divine liquid, and was completely attracted by it. Chapter 676/100. Chen Luo's spiritual fire continued to burn the enlightenment tea tree, and the bare tree body was continuously burned to ashes. The amount of golden eternal divine liquid also became more and more as the enlightenment tea tree continued to burn. The aura of the eternal divine liquid that gathered drop by drop became heavier and heavier, and the surrounding space seemed to become slightly distorted due to more and more eternal divine liquid. Half an hour later, most of the enlightenment tea tree had been burned, but the amount of eternal divine liquid it had absorbed was only a few dozen drops. Looking at the dozens of drops of eternal divine liquid, Chen Luo's mouth twitched slightly, and he said helplessly, "The amount of eternal divine liquid ingested by this enlightenment tea tree is a bit small." Chen Luo originally thought that after the enlightenment tea tree was burned, there would be at least hundreds of drops of eternal divine liquid. Now it seems that I am completely overthinking it. Even if the entire enlightenment tea tree is completely burned, the amount of eternal divine liquid absorbed will not be very large. Brother Chen Luo, eternal divine liquid is different from other spiritual liquids. Every drop of eternal divine liquid contains a lot of eternal power. Don't underestimate every drop of eternal divine liquid. Seeing that Chen Luo seemed a little dissatisfied, Jasmine stuck out her tongue playfully, then smiled. Chen Luo raised his brows, put the ingested eternal divine fluid into his palm and inspected it slightly. After some inspection, Chen Luo discovered that these eternal divine liquids contained a large amount of terrifying power. Every drop of the eternal divine liquid is like a vast ocean, and the smell makes people's scalp numb. As expected. Seeing that this eternal divine liquid indeed contained very rich eternal power, Chen Luo felt relieved. As long as there is enough eternal power, the amount of eternal divine liquid is not important. Then, Chen Luo continued to release the spiritual fire, burning the enlightenment tea tree in front of him whose vitality was constantly declining. Another half an hour passed, and the entire enlightenment tea tree was burned to pieces, and the rich fragrance filled every corner of the nihilistic realm of destiny. Whoosh whoosh! After a while, as the spiritual fire continued to surge and rage, the last branch of the enlightenment tea tree was completely burned to ashes. In front of Chen Luo, there was no sign of the Wuodao tea tree, replaced by drops of eternal divine liquid exuding terrifying eternal power. 108 drops of eternal divine liquid, I hope these eternal divine liquid will not disappoint me. Looking at the 108 drops of eternal divine liquid in front of him, Chen Luo murmured in a low voice. After reaching the realm of the Immortal King, the monk's physical body has reached a very powerful level, and a large amount of eternal divine liquid is needed to temper the heart. Chen Luo was not sure whether these eternal divine fluids could help his heart become completely eternal and turn into a complete eternal heart. However, Chen Luo now has no more enlightenment tea trees. Regardless of whether these eternal divine liquids can help his heart become completely eternal, Chen Luo has no other choice. Jasmine, help me protect the law, I will start to temper my heart now. Then, Chen Luo suppressed his thoughts and said to Jasmine next to him. The heart is a very important organ for monks, and the eternal divine liquid is a very precious top-level divine liquid. Therefore, when using the eternal divine liquid to temper his heart, Chen Luo needs to concentrate without any distractions. Chapter 677 Tempering. Jasmine also knew the importance of safety in tempering the eternal heart, and quickly patted her chest and said, "No problem, leave it to me. With me here, no one can disturb brother Chen Luo from tempering his heart. Then leave it to you." Chen Luo nodded. After that, Chen Luo took out some treasures and gave them to Jasmine, so that she could better exert her strength. Jasmine was not polite, and took the many treasures handed over by Chen Luo, and immediately left the Fate Void Realm, and carefully protected Chen Luo at the edge of the Fate Void Realm. Chen Luo did not worry too much, because this Fate Void Realm originally had a very strong hidden power. In addition to the powerful power contained in its realm, ordinary quasi-immortal emperors and forbidden strongmen would not be able to easily enter this realm. There is no need to worry too much. This is also the reason why Chen Luo chose to temper his heart in the Fate Void Realm. However, let's add an extra layer of insurance. Chen Luo raised his eyebrows and murmured in a low voice. Then, Chen Luo took out a series of top-level Fairy King-level magic arrays, and arranged them again in the realm of Destiny Void. This should be okay. In the realm of Destiny Void, among a large number of top-level Fairy King magic arrays, Chen Luo muttered in his heart. This eternal divine liquid is related to whether he can refine and condense the eternal heart, so no matter how careful he is, it is not too much. Gilu. After everything was ready, Chen Luo sat cross-legged in the formation of the realm and swallowed the eternal divine liquid that exuded a terrifying aura into his body. Boom! The moment he swallowed the eternal divine liquid, a terrifying roar sounded in Chen Luo's body, as if an ancient beast was roaring in Chen Luo's body. After a while, the golden eternal divine liquid turned into terrifying golden dragons, flowing freely in Chen Luo's body, impacting every bit of Chen Luo's flesh and blood and meridians. After being impacted by the golden dragon, Chen Luo's meridians and flesh and blood were undergoing a huge transformation, and seemed to be evolving towards an unknown realm. No, this power must be controlled, and tempering the heart is the key. Feeling the transformation of his flesh and blood, Chen Luo murmured in his heart. Eternalization is an irreversible process. Once eternalization is completed, it means a transition in the level of life. However, once the flesh and blood are eternalized, a large amount of original power and even immortal power will also be consumed. Therefore, the best choice for eternalization is the heart. The heart is the core of a person, the origin and surging place of life. Once the heart is eternalized, the power generated by the eternal heart will also be eternal power. In this way, the power required for the heart to beat will also be perfectly balanced, and the cultivator will be able to completely control this eternal power. If the heart is not eternalized, and the flesh and blood are first completed eternalized, the spiritual power load generated will be very large. Even if Chen Luo is a peak powerhouse of the ninth heaven of the Immortal King, it is difficult to bear the huge spiritual power source consumption. Hu! Chen Luo exhaled a breath of foul air and immediately mobilized all his spiritual power to attack the golden dragon in his body. Under the suppression of Chen Luo's magnificent spiritual power, the golden dragon transformed from the eternal divine liquid was engulfed by Chen Luo's spiritual power and slowly flew towards Chen Luo's surging and powerful heart. Chapter 678 Adaptation. The golden eternal divine liquid entered Chen Luo's heart under the control of Chen Luo's spiritual power. The majestic eternal power continued to flow in Chen Luo's heart, releasing brilliant spiritual light, and surging towards Chen Luo's heart. Hua wah wah! The heart that received the power of the eternal power burst into an extremely powerful golden storm. It seemed that the power of this eternal power was too violent. Even though Chen Luo had many terrifying physiques, his heart was already strong enough that even the immortal king's soldiers could not shake it. However, under the rendering of the power of this eternal divine liquid, it was still unbearable. This golden storm was caused by Chen Luo's heart being unable to bear the powerful power of the eternal divine liquid. It seems that I need to slowly let my heart adapt to this power before tempering it. Chen Luo slowly opened his eyes and murmured in his heart. Originally, Chen Luo thought that his body, at this point, could easily withstand the tempering of the eternal divine liquid. However, the current situation was beyond Chen Luo's expectations. The eternal power of the eternal divine liquid was too swift for Chen Luo's heart to bear. However, Chen Luo didn't care. He had already achieved the Chaos Immortal Body, the Fate Void Body, and many other top-level magical powers, and his body was already extremely powerful. It was completely possible to quickly adapt this heart to the violent power of the eternal divine liquid. Then, Chen Luo suppressed his thoughts, carefully mobilized the golden spiritual light of the eternal divine liquid in his body, and slowly tempered his heart. A few days later, under Chen Luo's careful tempering, Chen Luo's heart was finally able to withstand the violent impact of the eternal divine liquid. Hua wah wah! After adapting to the eternal power of the eternal divine liquid, Chen Luo swallowed more eternal divine liquid without any hesitation. A large amount of eternal divine liquid released golden divine light in Chen Luo's body, turned into a golden dragon, and filled Chen Luo's heart very swiftly. After adapting, Chen Luo's heart frantically absorbed the majestic eternal golden dragon. Countless eternal divine liquid powers were absorbed by Chen Luo's heart, causing Chen Luo's heart to undergo an unprecedented transformation. With the help of the eternal divine liquid power, the surging and powerful heart slowly began to emit strands of golden light. It seemed that it was constantly moving towards the realm of eternity, and time was passing slowly. In the chiming immortal realm, the Sea of Boundary, a star filled with a fiery red aura. In the central area of the star, Su Sheng, wearing a white Taoist robe, was constantly absorbing the rich spiritual energy around him and strengthening his own aura. Under the interweaving of many hot auras around him, Su Sheng was like a fire god of war, giving people an extremely strong sense of oppression. After a while, Su Sheng's aura suddenly climbed a lot. There seemed to be a vacuum zone around Su Sheng, and all the spiritual energy was constantly shrinking in silence. I'm uneasy. Zhu Jing hasn't come back yet. Did something happen? After a while, Su Sheng, who was a little restless, slowly opened his eyes. There was a little fatigue in his deep eyes. After asking Zhu Jing to deal with Chen Luo, Su Sheng had been waiting on Huoyu's star. However, Zhu Jing hadn't returned for a long time, and there was no news, which made Su Sheng feel a little uneasy. Chapter 679, Fire God Guard. Zhu Jing is the evil suppressor of the Sea of Boundaries. He is extremely powerful and has many means. Logically speaking, with his status and strength, it should be easy for him to deal with a small lord of the ancient fairy city. However, half a month has passed and Zhu Jing has not returned. Moreover, in these days, Su Sheng has often sent messages to Zhu Jing, but Zhu Jing also did not have any answers. Impossible, absolutely impossible, there must be something that delayed him. That Chen Luo is just the leader of a top force in the fairy world. Zhu Jing is the evil suppressor valued by Lord Huozu. There will be no problem. After a while, Su Sheng suppressed the panic in his heart and murmured in a low voice. Thinking of Zhu Jing's strength and status, Su Sheng felt more secure. Boom! At this time, a terrifying roar appeared on Huoyu's star, as if some terrifying power was coming from the dark. Su Sheng slowly raised his head, his face showing horror. What happened? This is the Boundary Sea. How dare someone go wild on the Fire Moon Star in the Boundary Sea? Don't you want to die? Crack! After a moment, the space in front of Su Sheng completely collapsed, and an extremely terrifying force penetrated from the depths of the space, easily tearing this solid space apart. A man wearing flame-colored armor walked out of the torn space. The flame armor has extremely deep and mysterious ancient Taoist patterns, and the streamlined lines look extremely sharp, as if it contains the power to tear everything apart. There is also a flame-colored mask on the man's face. The flame-colored mask covers the man's face and isolates all the power that tries to enter the man's body. Above the mask, at the center of the man's eyebrows, there is a flame-like red mark, which exudes an extremely terrifying breath. Under the cover of the armor, mask, and mark, the man seems to be isolated from the whole world, but gives people a sense of mysterious vicissitudes and majesty that is difficult to overcome. Looking at the man in flame-colored armor who suddenly appeared, Su Sheng's pupils shrank, and then he seemed to recognize the man's identity. He quickly stood up and said to the man tremblingly, "Fire! Fire God Guard! Old Su Sheng has met the Fire God Guard. The Fire God Guard is the strongest guard under the command of the Fire Ancestor, and its strength is extremely powerful. They are not under the jurisdiction of any strong man in the Boundary Sea, but directly belong to the Fire Ancestor. They will only obey the orders of the Fire Ancestor and have a very unique status in the Boundary Sea. However, their strength is also quite strong. They have outstanding military exploits and tremendous strength. I don't know how much blood of the evil tribes outside the domain are stained on their hands. Every Fire God Guard was promoted by the Fire Ancestor from those excellent evil suppressors. In other words, every Fire God Guard has a chance to break through and become a forbidden quasi-immortal emperor. Although it is only a possibility, this possibility is what I don't know how many top immortal kings dream of. Therefore, Su Sheng was so shocked and lost his composure after realizing that it was the appearance of the Fire God Guard. Although he was the supreme elder of the Black and White Dao Palace, he knew in his heart that compared with the real behemoth like the Jihai, his proud identity was just a drop in the ocean, and there was no comparison between the two. Su Sheng, do you know your crime? At this time, a heavy and solemn voice came out from the mouth of the Fire God Guard. Chapter 680, Questioning. This voice was like a tsunami, surging in Su Sheng's heart, shocking Su Sheng's body and the blood and flesh in his body. Endless fear filled every corner of Su Sheng's heart. At this time, Su Sheng kept thinking about all his actions over the years. The past events echoed rapidly in Su Sheng's mind. He didn't understand what big mistake he had made that caused the Fire God Guard to come and ask for punishment in person. The Fire God Guard represented the will of the Fire Ancestor, which meant that the Fire Ancestor was dissatisfied with him. However, Su Sheng couldn't understand that he had done nothing to provoke the Fire Ancestor. Although he did some wrong things, Su Sheng had a very good sense of propriety and never dared to touch any part of the forbidden strongman of the quasi-immortal emperor. This is also the reason why he can survive in the Boundary Sea. Be courageous, keep the bottom line, know when to advance and retreat. Could it be about the captivity of the mutant evil spirit clan? No, it's impossible. If it is confirmed, it's not the Fire God Guard who came. Su Sheng's mind was full of thoughts in a short time. The Lord Fire God Guard clearly stated that the subordinate has been walking on thin ice all his life and dared not offend the Fire Ancestor. I don't know where the subordinate did wrong. After a while, Su Sheng gritted his teeth and suppressed his thoughts. Then he trembled and said in an extremely passionate tone. The Fire God Guard looked at Su Sheng calmly, without any emotion on his face. After a moment, the Fire God Guard glanced at Su Sheng in front of him and said lightly, "You are the one who persuaded Zhu Zhen's evil envoy to deal with Chen Luo, the lord of the ancient fairy city, and used some dirty means to try to conceal it from the upper level." Hearing the words of the Fire God Guard, Su Sheng felt his head buzzing. The words of the fire god guard were completely beyond Su Sheng's expectations. Is it because of Chen Luo? Chen Luo, the lord of a small ancient fairy city, how could he be so worthy of the attention of the fire ancestor that the fire ancestor sent the fire guards to question him? He thought that he had accidentally touched the bottom line of the fire ancestor with other things. Now, it was because of Chen Luo, a sinner who almost destroyed their entire black and white Dao palace. Master Fire Guard, Chen Luo is arrogant and domineering, and he is openly. Su Sheng's face became extremely ugly, and then he defended himself unwillingly. After all, his methods may be a little bit unpresentable, but in Su Sheng's view, it was Chen Luo who dealt with his black and white Dao palace first. He is also the supreme elder of the black and white Dao palace, with countless connections and resources, and has guarded the boundary sea for many years. Although he has no merits against the heaven, he has also worked hard, and the fire ancestor may forgive him. The fire guard interrupted Su Sheng and said to him calmly, "You can say yes or no. Lord Fire Ancestor is free to decide the merits and demerits." Looking at the cold and ruthless fire guard in front of him, Su Sheng felt a chill from the bottom of his heart. Especially the fire guard's eyes, with white flames flowing in the bottom of his eyes. It was obviously flames, but it gave people a feeling of coldness like 10,000 years of ice. After a while, Su Sheng sighed in his heart, and then said in a low voice, "Lord Fire Guard, I did beg Zhu Zhengzai to go deal with Chen Luo." Facing the fire guard's questioning, Su Sheng did not dare to hide anything. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 681 Punishment. After all, the Vulcan Guard represents the Fire Ancestor, the highest authority and supreme existence in the entire world sea. Moreover, the appearance of the Vulcan Guards itself means that the Fire Ancestor already knows about this matter. The Vulcan Guard's questioning was just to give himself some dignity. In this case, Su Sheng has been found guilty of murdering a monk from the same realm. He is now stripped of his identity as the guardian elder of Jihai and sent to the evil abyss realm. He will not be allowed to return to Jihai unless he has accomplished trillions of merits in the world. After seeing Su Sheng's confession, the Vulcan Guard took out a simple token with a fiery aura and spoke to Su Sheng in a solemn voice. Strip off the identity of the guardian elder of Jihai and send him to the evil abyss to perform trillions of world merits. This. Lord Fire God Guard, is this really Lord Fire Ancestor's order? I don't believe it. I want to see Lord Fire Ancestor. I am not convinced to deal with the leader of the top power in the fairy world. After hearing what the Vulcan Guard said, Su Sheng was completely dumbfounded, his face became extremely ugly, veins popped up on his forehead, and his body was trembling without knowing whether it was fear or anger. The Jihai Guarding Elder has a relatively high position in Jihai. He can mobilize many Jihai powerhouses and has a lot of say in Jihai. Su Sheng used his resources and connections to make many connections and put in a lot of effort to become the Guardian Elder of Jihai. Now that he was deprived of it like this, how could he not feel sad and angry? It's just that he was stripped of his position, but he was also asked to go to the evil abyss realm and make trillions of world merits. This was an even more fatal blow. The evil abyss realm is a super large realm belonging to the evil spirit clan. There are many evil spirit clan and many extraterrestrial evil clan there. There are also many monks from the Jihai human race who go there to kill the evil spirits and hone themselves. The boundary merit is the rules set by the boundary sea. Kill the evil clan, obtain the intelligence of the evil clan, and make meritorious service, you can obtain the boundary merit, and the boundary merit can be exchanged for various top-notch heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the boundary sea. However, world power may also be very difficult. Killing an ordinary evil clan in the true immortal realm can only yield 100 world power. It is very difficult to accumulate trillions of realm skills, even if Su Sheng is already a super strong among the top immortal kings. Ancestor Fire, you want me to die there? I refuse to accept it. Why? Su Sheng's voice became deeper and deeper, and his heart became more and more desperate. It's not that I haven't dealt with my own people before, but their punishments are not as severe as my own. Now, it was obvious that he didn't want to return to the Jihai alive. Su Sheng couldn't understand it. He couldn't understand it at all. This is Lord Fire Ancestor's order. Go to the evil abyss realm within 3 days without any mistakes. The Vulcan guard said calmly. After saying that, the Vulcan guard tore apart the space again and disappeared into the fire moon star. Looking at the leaving Vulcan guard, Su Sheng's body seemed to have aged many years in an instant. The skin on his body quickly became dry and his eyes were dull. The endless years of glory of the Black and White Dao Palace have ended here. Am I really wrong? Su Sheng closed his eyes unwillingly, with many thoughts in his mind. He never thought that he would one day end up in this situation. But at least I got revenge for Ming-er. After a while, Su Sheng murmured in a low voice, his eyes filled with memories. The Supreme Elder, the evil envoy of Zhu Zhen, went to deal with the Lord of the Ancient Immortal City, but was killed. At this time, a panicked voice sounded in Su Sheng's ears. Chapter 682 Half Eternity. In the surrounding space, a monk in a grey robe walked out of the twisted space and said respectfully to Su Sheng. This monk in a grey robe was Su Sheng's loyal subordinate, Li Ji. What? That Chen Luo is not dead, and he killed Zhu Jing, the evil envoy. Hearing the words of this monk, Su Sheng's face was gloomy and his body was shaking. He didn't expect that Zhu Jing would fail, and was killed. That was the evil envoy of the Sea of Boundaries, but he was killed by a little Chen Luo. How could it be possible? Su Sheng thought that it was because Zhu Jing successfully wiped out Chen Luo that he would receive this huge punishment. In this way, he can be regarded as a little comfort in his heart. The enemy has been solved. Even if he is demoted and exiled to the evil abyss forever, it is worth it. However, now his subordinates actually told him that Zhu Jing failed and was killed. Then I am not. Thinking of this, Su Sheng's heart was filled with endless anger and hatred, his eyes almost turned scarlet, and his majestic aura continued to surge. This result was completely unacceptable to Su Sheng. Li Ji in front of him was under the pressure of Su Sheng's powerful aura, and his skin was constantly broken, but he still stood in front of Su Sheng loyally. Damn it, it was obviously unsuccessful. Why did you impose such a severe punishment on me? Su Sheng clenched his fists and gnashed his teeth in hatred. Reverse killing Zhu Jing? No. Could it be that the guy actually has the potential to step into the realm of quasi-immortal emperor? After a while, Su Sheng seemed to think of something and suddenly raised his head. For the Fire Ancestor to attach so much importance to him, it must be that the guy's potential is huge enough. In that case, Su Sheng's eyes flashed with a deep and incomparable dim light. Qiming Immortal Realm, in the realm of destiny nothingness. Chen Luo sat cross-legged in the layers of formations, constantly absorbing the power of the eternal divine liquid in his body. After more than 3 months of absorption, those more than 100 drops of eternal divine liquid have been completely swallowed by Chen Luo. Endless eternal dragons hit Chen Luo's heart, emitting an extremely terrifying and majestic aura. Chen Luo's heart, because of the large amount of eternal divine liquid power poured into it, is now full of golden sacred power. Wisps of eternal power flow in Chen Luo's heart. The surging heart is like an ancient god and demon, and every beat has a terrifying power surging. The beating heart constantly releases surging golden divine light, which flows towards Chen Luo's flesh and blood, slowly nourishing every bit of Chen Luo's flesh and blood. Including Chen Luo's sea of consciousness and soul, they all bloom with brilliant light. Hua wah wah. Another 2 days passed, and as the last drop of eternal divine liquid was completely absorbed by Chen Luo's heart, a terrifying aura gushed out from Chen Luo's heart and swept around. Then, countless strange phenomena appeared around Chen Luo, including the ancient beast, the eternal lotus, the chaos, the origin of primordial chaos. Many strange phenomena showed golden light, just like the gods and demons opening the sky, turning this fate and nothingness into a brand new world. Alas, it's a pity that the amount of eternal divine fluid is still insufficient, and it only makes my heart semi-eternal. After a while, Chen Luo slowly opened his eyes, with a look of regret on his face. Chapter 683 Comprehension. In Chen Luo's eyes, there were many golden streams of light shining continuously, and those deep eyes seemed to have an eternal avenue. After being baptized by more than 100 drops of eternal divine liquid, Chen Luo's heart was not completely eternalized, but only reached a semi-eternal state. Chen Luo's heart was filled with terrifying eternal power. Although it is only semi-eternal, Chen Luo's heart can still release a steady stream of eternal power. Chen Luo's foundation has also been greatly enhanced, and his physical and soul power, as well as his understanding, have been greatly improved. Moreover, this improvement is sustainable, improving Chen Luo every moment. In Chen Luo's body, a new Tao fruit containing the eternal origin also appeared, which meant that Chen Luo could already use the power of the eternal origin. The 6 original Dao fruits intertwined in Chen Luo's body, exuding terrifying power that almost wiped out everything. Now, perhaps, I can really defeat the quasi-immortal emperor. Feeling the surging power in his body, Chen Luo felt heroic in his heart. If it were said that before, with the immortal power of Dao Luo, Chen Luo had the confidence to have a little encounter with the powerful quasi-immortal emperor. So now, after his heart became semi-eternal, Chen Luo has mastered the power of eternity. Chen Luo felt that this eternal power was not inferior to his own Dao Luo's immortal power, and was even more powerful in some aspects. With the immortal power of Dao Luo and the power of eternity, Chen Luo felt that his strength had jumped to another level. That was territory he had never reached before. Next, let's take a look at the insights from the quasi-immortal Emperor of Fire Ancestors breakthrough. I hope this insight can be of some help to me. Chen Luo then took out the enlightenment of breaking through to the quasi-immortal Emperor given to him by the Fire Ancestor. Now, even if I don't have the enlightenment tea, I can still understand the obscure and complicated information above. Chen Luo looked at the fragments of spiritual light in his hand that were like a vast galaxy, and murmured in his heart. The eternal divine liquid is transformed by burning the tree body of the enlightenment tea tree. The enlightenment tea tree inherently contains the aura of the Great Way and can temporarily enhance understanding. After being transformed into the eternal divine liquid, the eternal divine liquid also comes with countless great auras. When Chen Luo's heart was nourished by the eternal divine liquid and reached semi-eternity, Chen Luo's understanding was also greatly improved because of the aura of the avenue attached to the eternal divine liquid. Chen Luo's understanding has now far surpassed Wang Xian's divine body of enlightenment, reaching a level that shocked the past and the present. After reaching this point, Chen Luo's mind was filled with countless flashes of light every moment, and many complicated and doubtful questions were solved at this moment. Many magical powers and secret techniques are learned through spontaneous deduction. Let's look at Ancestor Fire's insights first. Chen Luo suppressed the many flashing lights in his mind and prepared to examine wholeheartedly the feelings of the Fire Ancestor's breakthrough quasi-immortal emperor. Now, the most important thing before Chen Luo is to break through to the quasi-immortal emperor. Whoosh whoosh! The moment Chen Luo gathered his soul, he felt a large amount of fire breath in this aura fragment. These flame breaths carried extremely terrifying power and quickly surged through Chen Luo's body. For a moment, Chen Luo felt that his whole body was wrapped in endless sky-burning flames. Chapter 684, Young Child. The flames that almost burned the sky and destroyed the earth quickly surged through Chen Luo's body. The scorching temperature was like the air that penetrated everywhere, constantly interweaving on Chen Luo's body. Even though Chen Luo's heart had already become semi-eternal, he still felt the terrifying scorching breath. It was a flame that surpassed everything Chen Luo knew, as if it contained everything, and as if it tore everything apart, and contained the ultimate mystery. Under the burning of many sky-burning flames, Chen Luo's body was constantly changing. The origin of the fruit in the body was also undergoing a profound transformation with the help of the endless sky-burning flames. The Dao patterns on it were inspired by the perception of the fire ancestor and were constantly drifting away. Because the heart had already become semi-eternal, Chen Luo's comprehension had also reached an unprecedented level, and every thought inspired countless inspirations. Chen Luo only felt that his thoughts and body were immersed in a strange field. In this field, Chen Luo's body, soul, and origin were all experiencing endless flames. Every time the flames burned, Chen Luo had a new understanding. The flames kept burning, making Chen Luo almost forget the passage of time. I don't know how long it took, but Chen Luo's soul seemed to be cleansed of all dust under the endless flames and became sacred. Then, a series of memories like a tide poured into Chen Luo's mind. In an ancient and vicissitudes of life temple, a young child about 8 or 9 years old knelt in front of the temple anxiously. There was a constant strong wind around, and the strong wind seemed to want to blow the child away, but the child knelt on the ground, holding the only stone in front of him, letting the strong wind continue to surge, and not letting go of his hand, as if that was his only way to survive. Go back, your talent is too poor, not suitable for practice. When the young child struggled to support the strong wind, a cold and indifferent voice came from the front of the temple. The child did not speak, lowered his head deeply, and still hugged the boulder in front of him tightly. Time passed slowly. After an unknown amount of time, the young child had already fainted. However, he still held the stone in front of him tightly and knelt in front of the temple. The child's knees seemed to be connected to the ground and difficult to separate. Fool, why are you doing this? After a while, a middle-aged man with a Taoist robe and a fairy-like appearance pushed open the door of the temple and looked at the child in front with a sigh. Your cultivation talent is too poor. It will be difficult for you to enter the realm of immortality in this life. You will follow me to practice alchemy in the future. After the middle-aged man woke up the child, he said lightly. Yes, master. The child's pale face finally showed a smile. Since then, the child has followed the middle-aged man to learn the art of alchemy meticulously day after day. The child has also grown into a teenager over time. After several years of learning alchemy, the boy's alchemy skills have reached perfection. He can refine holy level pills at the age of just over 10. Moreover, besides refining medicine, the boy also refines pills to improve his cultivation. Because of his low talent, he often needs a lot of pills to break through the realm that ordinary people can easily break through. When others have achieved the 7th realm of the Saint realm in their teens, the boy is still in the 3rd realm of the mysterious pill realm. However, the boy doesn't care at all, and continues to improve himself at his own pace. Refining pills, taking pills, practicing. Chapter 685 Bitter Bamboo. At the age of 30, the peers have already reached the 8th level of Saint King, while the boy is only at the 4th level of Nirvana. At the age of 100, the boy finally entered the realm of Saint, while the peers have already entered the Quasi-Emperor. At the age of 200, the boy entered the realm of Saint King, while the peers have already passed the Great Emperor's heavenly tribulation. Kuzu, I know you have been taking pills to practice, but with your talent, Saint King is your limit. In the future, if you specialize in alchemy, you may have a chance to become a Taoist. The white-haired master looked at his disciple who still insisted on taking pills to practice, and said slowly. Kuzu raised his head, looked at the master with bright eyes, and asked, Master, if you don't have enough talent, can you really not become a peak strongman and enter the extreme realm? Looking at the slightly aged appearance in front of him, but his eyes were still like when he first met him more than 200 years ago, the master felt sorry for him. However, thinking of Kuzu's future, the master still closed his eyes and shook his head gently. Master, I understand. I will prove to you that Saint King is not my limit. Even if I don't have top talent, I can still break through and enter the real peak of cultivation. Although the master did not recognize him, Kuzu still insisted. At the age of 300, Kuzu was still in the Saint King realm, and his peers had already entered the Emperor Road to compete for supremacy. At the age of 500, Kazuo was still in the Saint King realm. At the age of 800, Kazuo was still in the Saint King realm. At the age of 1000, the former boy had white hair because of swallowing too many pills. He was still in the Saint King realm, and his peers had already entered the immortal Dao realm. At the age of 1200. At the age of 1500. At the age of 1800. At the age of 2000, Kazuo finally entered the Great Saint realm, but Kazuo's master could no longer see him. "Master, I will break through step by step, Quasi-Emperor, Great Emperor, True Immortal, and finally become the most peak forbidden strongman." Kazuo made a great wish in front of his master. Since then, Kazuo's cultivation has become more difficult. He has been silently refining pills, improving his cultivation, refining pills, and improving his cultivation. Time seemed to stop beside him, and his world was only filled with refining pills and cultivation. 5,000 years, 10,000 years, 20,000 years, 30,000 years. 100,000 years. All the cultivation resources in this world were refined into pills by Kazuo for his own cultivation. However, the spiritual essence of this world was exhausted, and the world entered the Dharma ending age. Kazuo was not panicked, because he had already anticipated the emergence of this day. He had long hoarded a large amount of heaven and earth resources. Finally, after 200,000 years, Kazuo in the Dharma ending age entered the peak realm of the heavenly realm emperor and began to overcome the heavenly tribulation of ascension. Fortunately, the world entered the Dharma ending age, and the power of the heavenly tribulation was very weak. Kazuo finally experienced the joy of successfully overcoming the tribulation and entered the fairyland. Are you kidding me? Didn't that ancient world have no spiritual energy 100,000 years ago? How come someone can still ascend? Fuck, to be able to ascend to the fairyland in that era of absolute spirituality, this is a genius, a super supreme genius. If you can become a fairy in such an area, you must be a fairy king in the fairyland. Come on, old man, please take my seat and test your talent. The many cultivators on the ascension platform said one after another, and then took out the spirit testing beads. Fuck, idiot, with the talent for cultivation of the earth grade, where did this old waste come from? Get out, this is your shovel, go to the mining area to mine. Chapter 686 Persistence. Kazuo silently took the shovel and went to the mining area mentioned by the monks on the ascension platform. After entering the mining area, Kazuo was absent-minded for a moment, looking at the mining area full of violent immortal power, but without any cultivation resources and extremely harsh environment. Did I practice hard for 200,000 years, day and night, just to enter the immortal world to mine? Looking at the terrible things around him, Kazuo doubted his persistence for many years for the first time. No, I am right. I persisted in such a difficult situation at the beginning. Now, I have entered the immortal realm and become a true immortal. What else can't I persist in? Kazuo closed his eyes and recalled his 200,000 years of life. Although it was boring, he paid an unimaginable price for every step, and he remembered every step by step. It took him 200,000 years to complete the journey that his peers took 1,000 years to complete. When Kazuo opened his eyes again, the confusion in his eyes had completely dissipated. Kazuo carried his immortal shovel, came to the mining area, and mined honestly. In his spare time, Kazuo would still use his salary to exchange for heaven and earth resources to refine pills and improve his cultivation. However, Kazuo's talent was too low. After tens of thousands of years of mining, he didn't know how many miners had died, but Kazuo was still in the first level of the true immortal realm. His talent was too low. The Jihai is recruiting cultivators. As long as you kill the foreign evil races in the Jihai and make contributions, you can obtain various heaven and earth resources, including the innate divine medicine that improves your cultivation talent. Hundreds of years later, the Jihai Guardian came to the mining area to recruit cultivators. No one responded in the mining area. Kuzul looked at the High Jihai Guardian, silently clenched his fists, and was very entangled in his heart. After a while, Kuzul stood up and responded to enter the Jihai. He didn't know if his choice was right, but he was not sure if this was his only chance in this life. Kuzul, who was still in the first level of the true immortal realm at an old age, stood up and did not cause anyone to laugh. Any cultivator who dared to respond to the call of the Jihai and fight against the foreign evil races deserves respect. The Guardian of the Boundary Sea also accepted Kuzul's response solemnly. Seeing the reactions of the people around him, Kuzul felt respected for the first time, and also had more expectations for this area he had never seen before, the Boundary Sea. From then on, Kuzul entered the Boundary Sea and became a cultivator of the Boundary Sea. He refined pills, fought bravely, and spent everything he had wantonly. His efforts were rewarded. Here, he got the innate divine medicine that improved his talent. Kuzul, who was no longer restricted by his talent, finally began to accumulate and develop. After 200,000 years of persistence, Kuzul's Dao heart had already reached an invincible level. Those things that restricted him for 200,000 years, at this moment, became the ladder for him to enter the realm of the strongest. True Immortal, Immortal King, Supreme Immortal King, everything, in front of Kuzul's persistence, is still insignificant, just like him who had been kneeling in front of his master's temple for hundreds of thousands of years when he was young and had not yet practiced. Kuzul finally realized the ultimate way of fire and stepped into the quasi-immortal emperor. He was called the Fire Ancestor by many cultivators in the chiming immortal realm. Facing the endless foreign evil tribes around the Boundary Sea, the Fire Ancestor still has only 2 words: persistence. Is this the path of the Fire Ancestor? I seem to understand. Chapter 687 Flame. Chen Luo slowly opened his eyes full of admiration. At this time, he already understood that the memories in his mind were the life of Fire Ancestor Kuzul. Thinking of this, Chen Luo also admired Fire Ancestor. From a young child with low talent, he experienced a long time and finally grew up to be the Fire Ancestor standing at the top of the chiming immortal realm with his unparalleled persistence. The word persistence is simple to say, but it is difficult for ordinary people to persist. Although Fire Ancestor also had some opportunities, compared with his persistence, his opportunities were somewhat insignificant. At least Chen Luo thought that if he was in the situation of Fire Ancestor, it would be absolutely impossible for him to be as good as Fire Ancestor. Perhaps he could not even get out of the ancient world. Fire Ancestor was too difficult. At this time, Chen Luo seemed to be infected by Fire Ancestor's experience. There was a trace of vicissitudes on his body, and his Tao heart seemed to have become much firmer. Chen Luo also understood why the situation in the chiming immortal realm was so bad now, but the Fire Ancestor could still guard the Boundary Sea for so long. It was all because of the word persistence. The Fire Ancestor's countless long years were basically implementing these 2 words. The only time he persisted was just after entering the immortal realm. The huge contrast made the Fire Ancestor almost desperate. However, the Fire Ancestor, who was determined in his Taoism, finally controlled his heart and continued to persist. It can be said that after so many years, if the Fire Ancestor hesitated or indulged once more, he would not necessarily become the Supreme Fire Ancestor. It can be seen from this how difficult it is to break through the quasi-immortal emperor. It has nothing to do with talent, but more about personal fate and Taoism. The Fire Ancestor's ultimate flame way is indeed terrifying. Chen Luo's mind was filled with flames that almost burned the world, and a solemn look flashed across his face. While experiencing the life of the Fire Ancestor, Chen Luo also felt the power of the Fire Ancestor's ultimate flame way. I don't know how many evil tribes from outside the domain died tragically under the ultimate flame of the Fire Ancestor. From the memory of the Fire Ancestor, Chen Luo also knew how to break through the realm of quasi-immortal emperor. First, you need to master the immortal power and make your body immortal. Secondly, it is the ultimate way. Master the immortal power, make your body immortal, and then master the ultimate way, you can break through the realm of quasi-immortal emperor. The ultimate way is the ultimate power that surpasses the source power. It is extremely terrifying. Ordinary source power is like floating in front of a tree in front of the ultimate way. There is no comparison. At this time, Chen Luo also realized that he was a little naive before. Thinking that he could face the real quasi-immortal emperor directly with so many powers is a big mistake. Before, Chen Luo faced the skeleton of the quasi-immortal emperor and the Dharma body of the fallen evil emperor. Although they had the power of the quasi-immortal emperor, they were not complete quasi-immortal emperors at all. Only when the immortal power and the ultimate way are combined together can they be the real quasi-immortal emperor. Because the ultimate Dao is too powerful, those Dharma bodies and incomplete quasi-immortal emperors can hardly use it. Including the fire ancestor's spiritual body that gave him enlightenment not long ago, which is also incomplete. This is why Chen Luo was able to face the quasi-immortal emperor with his current means. Now we can only say that the ignorant are fearless. Chapter 688 Road. Fire Ancestor mastered the ultimate way of flame. After being accepted as a disciple by his master at a young age, the first thing he came into contact with was alchemy, and the most common thing he came into contact with was various flames. Later, alchemy ran through Fire Ancestor's life. Because of his low talent, Fire Ancestor could only rely on drugs to improve his cultivation. After countless times of alchemy, Fire Ancestor was most familiar with flames, even more than his own body and skills. That almost penetrated Fire Ancestor's soul and origin, as well as everything. This made Fire Ancestor's perception of flames reach a peak that no one could reach. In the end, relying on the ultimate understanding of flames, he mastered the ultimate way of flames and achieved the supreme position of Fire Ancestor. The ultimate way of flames is also extremely terrifying among many ultimate ways, containing super destructive power, especially the one who mastered this ultimate way was Fire Ancestor, whose Tao heart was determined to the extreme. The ultimate way of flames, in front of Fire Ancestor, who had been dealing with flames for countless years, bloomed with extremely terrifying power. The power of the immortal power and the ultimate way is not as simple as 1 + 1. The power of the two combined is extremely terrifying and can easily destroy a lower plane. Even a fairyland cannot withstand the terrifying power. In Chen Luo's memory, when the Fire Ancestor had just broken through to the quasi-immortal emperor, he once killed into the realm where the foreign evil race was located. Relying on the extremely powerful immortal power and the almost invincible flame, he completely destroyed hundreds of foreign evil races in the fairyland. The number of foreign evil races who died in his hands is really impossible to count. When guarding the boundary sea, it was the same. It was precisely because of the terrifying strength of the Fire Ancestor that many of the strongest people of the foreign evil race did not dare to act recklessly and could not break through the seemingly impregnable boundary sea. The path of the Fire Ancestor is extreme fire, burning in fire, and completed in fire. What about my path? Chen Luo looked at the blazing flames around him and fell into deep thought. After seeing the Fire Ancestor's breakthrough to the quasi-immortal emperor's perception, Chen Luo knew that the ultimate way and immortal power were not the most important. The most important thing is to find your own path. Find your own path and eventually lead him to the ultimate. This is the path to becoming a quasi-immortal emperor. The Fire Ancestor's path is fire, so what about mine? Where is my path? Chen Luo looked at the many origin fruits in his body, the Chaos Origin Fruit, the Immortal Origin Fruit, the Yin and Yang Origin Fruit, the Reincarnation Origin Fruit, the Destiny Origin Fruit, the Eternal Origin Fruit. The 6 origin fruits kept circling in Chen Luo's body, emitting an extremely terrifying power. These origin fruits all contain very powerful power and potential. Theoretically, I can slowly comprehend the power of the ultimate Dao with these origin powers. The ultimate Dao achieved with these origin powers is extremely terrifying. However, these origin powers are all the origin powers that transcend matter. It is more difficult to comprehend them than to achieve the ultimate Dao with ordinary origin powers. Even if I don't have enough understanding and opportunity, I may not be able to achieve the ultimate Dao with these origin powers in this life. That is to say, if I want to achieve the ultimate Dao with these origin powers in my body now, I must not break into the quasi-immortal emperor for a long time, or even be unable to prepare to step into the quasi-immortal emperor. In a short period of time, countless thoughts flashed through Chen Luo's mind because of his own path. Chapter 689, Tangled. The origin of chaos, the origin of immortality, the origin of yin and yang, the origin of reincarnation, the origin of destiny, the origin of eternity. There is no doubt that these 6 original powers have extraordinary potential. However, because of this, it is several times, or even dozens of times, more difficult than ordinary source power to achieve the ultimate goal for them. Thinking of this, Chen Luo's face turned slightly ugly. Although there are many means now, Chen Luo himself is not sure how long it will take him or even whether he can become a quasi-immortal emperor. After all, judging from Fire Ancestor's memory, the situation on the other side of the Boundary Sea was already very turbulent. The Fire Ancestor has been guarding the Boundary Sea for many years, and many evil races from outside the territory have already taken full advantage of the Fire Ancestor's strength and methods. There won't be much time left for the chiming immortal realm. Otherwise, the Fire Ancestor would not ignore the development of the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm and forcefully recruit many monks who have not yet grown up to go to the Boundary Sea to fight. The purpose is to buy more time for the entire Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm, and at the same time, kill as many evil races as possible outside the territory to prepare for what will happen in the future. And if we really wait until the day when the Boundary Sea is lost, given the nature of the evil tribe outside the territory, they will definitely go on a killing spree. At that time, Fire Ancestor will definitely not be able to protect everyone. Chen Luo couldn't accept everything about himself, and was eventually destroyed at the hands of the evil tribe outside the territory. Everyone under the quasi-immortal emperor is an ant. Before that, I must break through the quasi-immortal emperor, or possess the strength of the quasi-immortal emperor. Chen Luo thought silently in his heart. If this is the case, I may choose to condense another ordinary source of Tao and fruit, and comprehend a relatively simple ultimate Tao. Now, my heart has become semi-eternal, and my understanding has reached the extreme. I can then comprehend an ordinary Tao. The ultimate way will definitely be simpler. Many thoughts flashed through Chen Luo's mind, and soon he thought of a new way. The ordinary ultimate way is definitely easier to obtain than the 6 original ways that Chen Luo currently masters. Coupled with Chen Luo's many methods now and the help of Fire Ancestor's insights, Chen Luo is confident that he can achieve the ordinary ultimate way as soon as possible and enter the forbidden realm of the quasi-immortal emperor. But, is this kind of road really what I want? At this time, Chen Luo was caught in an extremely entangled situation. It is to choose one of the 6 original Dao fruits that are very difficult to achieve the ultimate path, and become a top quasi-immortal emperor. Or comprehend an ordinary original way and become an ordinary quasi-immortal emperor. Chen Luo's 6 original path fruits are all top original path fruits, and the ultimate path of achievement is also extremely powerful. Quasi-immortal emperors achieved with those original Dao fruits can easily crush ordinary quasi-immortal emperors. Of course, except for weirdos like Fire Ancestor. Although he is an ordinary flame Dao, Fire Ancestor's understanding of flames has reached another level, and his strength is not inferior to those of the top quasi-immortal emperors. Understand the ordinary ultimate way, or continue to walk your own path that is difficult but has very high potential. Chen Luo murmured in a low voice, lost in thought. The 6 original Tao fruits in the body seemed to be affected by Chen Luo's emotions, exuding unusually mysterious power. Perhaps there is another way. Half an hour later, Chen Luo slowly raised his head, an unprecedented light flashing in his eyes. Chapter 697. Perhaps I can be like the Infinite Lord and walk my own path, without necessarily being limited to my own origins. Chen Luo then said slowly. From the memory of the fire ancestor, Chen Luo also learned about the ultimate ways of the two taboo powerhouses he heard about in the ancient continent, the Lord of Infinity and the Lord of Death. The Lord of Death masters the extremely powerful ultimate method of death. His strength is extremely terrifying and he is a very top existence among the quasi-immortal emperors. The Infinite Lord has blazed his own path. The infinite ultimate way he created has extraordinary potential and strength. In the memory of Ancestor Fire, when the Infinite Lord had just become the quasi-immortal emperor with the infinite ultimate way, he killed the veteran quasi-immortal emperor strongman from the evil tribe outside the territory. His strength was very terrifying. After that, the infinite way that he created by himself was stained with the blood of countless top and most powerful people from outside the territory, making countless members of the evil tribes from outside the territory fearful. Now, even though the Infinite Lord is no longer in the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm and the Realm Sea, many top extraterrestrial evil clan powerhouses will be shocked every time he mentions that name. Moreover, when Chen Luo was in the ancient continent, he also received the infinite reincarnation fist from the Infinite Lord. The mystery contained in the infinite samsara fist, even to Chen Luo now, still feels vast and seems to have extraordinary potential. Since the Infinite Lord can create his own ultimate way, then why can't I? Feeling the majestic figure in the memory of the fire ancestor, like the master of the universe, Chen Luo's eyes became firm. Then let's decide. Create your own ultimate way. No matter how bad it is, you will still use the top original way to become a quasi-immortal emperor. If you are a mediocre quasi-immortal emperor, why should I break through? Chen Luo's voice was heavier than ever before, and there was no longer any confusion in his heart. Ancestor Fire, your insights this time really helped a lot. You let me know the power of the quasi-immortal emperor, and at the same time, you also made me understand the path I should take. Chen Luo said slowly. The blazing flames on his body had slowly dissipated after Chen Luoming realized his own path. However, many of the fire ancestors' insights into the ultimate way of flames still remained in Chen Luo's mind. If you have the enlightenment of Ancestor Fire, maybe you can condense another source of Dao fruit. Chen Luo raised his eyebrows and murmured in a low voice. Immediately afterwards, Chen Luo immediately relied on his now terrifying understanding to quickly realize the power in his mind. Whoosh whoosh. Half a month later, Chen Luo's understanding of the ultimate flame path was completely digested and absorbed by Chen Luo. There were also faintly strong flame auras on Chen Luo's body. Although the deep flame aura was not as good as the fire ancestor's ultimate flame method, it still contained the ultimate temperature. The surrounding space seemed unable to withstand the extreme temperature, and was slowly melting into nothingness. The original Tao fruit of flame, condense. After the flame breath appeared, Chen Luo slowly opened his eyes, with countless flames surging in his eyes. Then, the surrounding flame aura rushed towards Chen Luo's danshan like a tide. Whoosh whoosh. A few hours later, many flame auras and inspirations gathered, and the seventh origin Dao fruit appeared in Chen Luo's danshan. Chapter 691, The Way Out. The seventh origin fruit was the flame origin fruit that Chen Luo condensed by relying on the ultimate flame path left by the fire ancestor. The fiery red flame origin fruit circulated continuously in Chen Luo's danshan. Although the power released by this flame origin fruit was weaker than the 6 top origin fruits that Chen Luo mastered, it far surpassed the ordinary origin fruits. As expected of the fire ancestor. Feeling the flame origin fruit with a terrifying flame aura in his body, Chen Luo's heart was full of joy. Unexpectedly, the flame origin fruit that he condensed from the fire ancestor's perception was not ordinary. If he took the flame origin fruit of the fire ancestor as the core and followed the same ultimate flame path as the fire ancestor, he could also become a quasi-immortal emperor of the fire ancestor's level. Moreover, with the example of the fire ancestor becoming a quasi-immortal emperor, this road would undoubtedly be much easier to walk. Given the character of fire ancestor, he probably gave many insights. Perhaps, there are others who are trying to follow Fire Ancestor's path. Thinking of the man who was like the god of fire in his memory, Chen Luo secretly said that this was something Fire Ancestor would do. Chen Luo vaguely felt that in the Sea of Boundaries, and even in the chiming immortal realm, there were probably not too few people who had obtained Fire Ancestor's breakthrough insights. Fire Ancestor is really a man with a vision. He gave away such a precious insight like this. Chen Luo really admired Fire Ancestor, his eyes were full of complexities. The breakthrough insight of the quasi-immortal emperor was extremely precious. It almost contained the ultimate way of a quasi-immortal emperor. It was not simply described by the word precious. The cultivator was originally fighting against the heaven and earth, against fate, against people, and even against all spirits. From Fire Ancestor's memory, Chen Luo learned that in this world, the ultimate power was limited. If others also comprehended the same ultimate way as you, then the ultimate power you could mobilize from this world would undoubtedly be less. The number may not be large, but at the level of quasi-immortal emperor, any slight gap is very fatal. An ultimate, the fewer people who comprehend the ultimate way, the more powerful the quasi-immortal emperor will be. Of course, the premise is that the ultimate way cannot be too weak. This is also the reason why the Lord of Infinity can have such terrifying strength just after breaking through the quasi-immortal emperor. His infinite ultimate way is only used by him, and it is naturally much stronger than other quasi-immortal emperors. Not to mention, his infinite ultimate way is also a top ultimate way with extraordinary potential. Fire Ancestor's move is undoubtedly adding more opponents to his future. Moreover, if this perception is seized by the quasi-immortal emperor of the outer domain evil clan, it is very likely that the Fire Ancestor's weaknesses will be found from this perception and targeted, which is a fatal blow. Perhaps, Fire Ancestor has his own considerations. Chen Luo said in his heart, but in this case, if possible, try not to follow the path of the quasi-immortal emperor of Fire Ancestor. Originally, when Chen Luo felt the power of the Flame Origin Dao fruit, he thought that he could use this Flame Ultimate Dao as a fallback. However, after thinking so much, Chen Luo decided to give up that fallback, even though it might be very smooth. Chen Luo murmured in a low voice, then let's see if we can find an ultimate path ourselves. Creating our own ultimate path is the most powerful. Chapter 692 Attraction. After determining his own path, Chen Luo then slowly restrained his aura. The power of eternal marks on the body, the power of Dao Luo's immortality, and the power of the 7 top original Tao fruits in the body were also slowly withdrawn into the body by Chen Luo. The powerful and mysterious realm of destiny is slowly dissipating. The moment the realm of nothingness of destiny dispersed, Chen Luo heard Jasmine's clear and sweet voice. Not far away, Jasmine, who was wearing a purple dress and looked pure and beautiful, looked directly at Chen Luo, her eyes full of tenderness. She was holding an extremely sharp long sword stained with endless black blood. She looked like a peerless female swordswoman, with a sharp and moving temperament. Surrounding Jasmine, there were piles of corpses of evil alien tribesmen, exuding an unusually evil aura. These evil clans are all the corpses of the top strong men from the Evil Spirit Clan, Nether Clan, and Corpse Clan, and there are many of them who have advanced to the late stage of Immortal King. The piles of corpses and the overwhelming evil energy almost turned this area into a demonic realm, which was extremely eerie. Chen Luo, you're finally out, I've been so bored these past few months. Jasmine, who was not far away, quickly put away her long sword and threw herself directly into Chen Luo's arms, greedily enjoying Chen Luo's warmth. Thank you for your hard work these past few months. Chen Luo patted Jasmine's shoulder, caressed Jasmine's pale face, and said in a soft voice. When merging the eternal divine liquid, Chen Luo felt that there seemed to be some evil alien tribes approaching. However, Chen Luo was at the critical point of integration at that time and didn't think too much about it. I thought it was just some extraterritorial evil tribes, but I didn't expect that there were so many of these extraterritorial evil tribes. Jasmine has not recovered her strength yet, and she has undoubtedly paid a heavy price to deal with these extraterritorial evil tribes. It's not hard work. It's just some evil tribes in the Immortal King realm. I can pinch them with my hands. There is no pressure at all. Sensing the worry in Chen Luo's words, Jasmine smiled lightly on her pale face, feeling that it was all worth it. Whoosh whoosh. Chen Luo hugged Jasmine gently, and then used his eternal power to help Jasmine recover. After his heart became semi-eternal, Chen Luo could already use the power of eternity. The eternal power not only has super offensive power, but also has a very top-notch healing effect, with a very strong healing effect. Jasmine did not refuse, she just absorbed the eternal power from Chen Luo and restored her body. These extraterrestrial evil tribes must have been attracted by the power of my eternal divine liquid. Chen Luo asked slowly while helping Jasmine heal her body. Jasmine snuggled into Chen Luo's arms and said in a soft voice, "Yes, Brother Chen Luo, those guys only appeared when Brother Chen Luo absorbed the eternal divine liquid." Chen Luo's eyes flashed with a faint glint, and he was a little worried. It seems that the invasion of the evil alien tribe is really serious. So many evil alien tribes are hiding in the dark, and they have not been discovered. Although there are evil races from outside the territory in many places in the chiming fairyland. However, because the foundation of the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm is still good, it can still suppress these extraterrestrial evil races. However, these extraterritorial evil tribes hiding in the dark made Chen Luo feel a little worried. Chapter 693 Investigation. If it weren't for the attraction of the eternal divine fluid, Chen Luo would definitely not know that there are so many foreign evil clans hidden in other places in the chiming immortal realm. Now the number of foreign evil clans killed in this area is very large. Although all the foreign evil clans here were killed by Jasmine, Jasmine was once a forbidden strongman of the quasi-immortal emperor. Even if her strength is not at the peak now, her means are extremely amazing. With these numbers and strengths of foreign evil clans, any top immortal king can't hold on for long. Although I don't know what they want to do, they must have great ambitions. Chen Luo continued to murmur in a low voice. What made Chen Luo feel cold in his heart was the hidden purpose of these foreign evil clans. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. They obviously have a large number of evil clan strongmen hiding, but they don't participate in the struggle between the foreign evil clans and the chiming immortal realm. Obviously, with their strength, if they join the battle to destroy the chiming immortal realm, they can greatly speed up the fall of the chiming immortal realm. However, they did not do so, but hid in the dark. It was unbelievable that so many top giant forces in the chiming immortal realm could not find it. Jasmine nodded, with a worried look on her face. Yes, such a large-scale foreign evil clan hiding in the chiming immortal realm is really disturbing. I'll use the Fate Void body to explore it. Chen Luo's heart became more and more uneasy, and he decided to use the power of the Fate Void body to immediately explore the source and purpose of these foreign evil clans. Well, then you explore first, I've almost recovered. Jasmine also knew the seriousness of the matter, and hurriedly said to Chen Luo. Chen Luo's eternal power is extremely powerful. Although it is only a short-term treatment, it has already cured Jasmine's injuries and there is not much impact. Hearing this, Chen Luo put away his eternal power, then took out the top recovery elixir and asked Jasmine to take it. Jasmine took Chen Luo's top-level recovery elixir and swallowed it directly, using the power of the elixir to restore her body. Then, Chen Luo slowly closed his eyes and activated his Destiny Void body. Hua hua hua! As Chen Luo's Destiny Void body was activated, a mysterious destiny force emanated from Chen Luo's body. These destiny forces were like silk threads, winding around the completely fallen foreign evil clans. In a moment, the many destiny threads had locked the fate of these fallen foreign evil clan masters. Shua shua shua! After locking, Chen Luo did not waste time, but continued to follow the fate of these foreign evil clan corpses and explore everything about these foreign evil clan masters. The fate of these foreign evil clans seemed to be protected by a mysterious power, making it difficult for Chen Luo to explore. Chen Luo remained calm and continued to increase the power of the destiny void body, and the majestic destiny force poured out. In the face of the powerful force of the fate void body, these guards were vulnerable. The majestic power of fate quickly broke through these power guards and directly explored their roots. Soon, we will know what their purpose is. The power of the fate void body showed everything about the corpses of these foreign evil races in front of Chen Luo. Chen Luo seemed to have a series of pictures in his mind, showing all the pictures and experiences of these foreign evil races before their death. Chapter 694 Altar. One after another, the images flowed through Chen Luo's mind like slides. Their death, their previous hiding, and all the actions they did while hiding in the chiming immortal realm, all flashed through Chen Luo's mind. However, most of the time, they were hiding in the chiming immortal realm. Even if the mountains and rivers turned upside down, the chiming immortal realm was in chaos, and there were sharp struggles everywhere, they were still hiding. Like a poisonous snake in the dark, they watched all the changes in the chiming immortal realm with cold eyes. Only when it was absolutely safe and there was no possibility of leakage, they would come out and do some bloody and extremely evil things. They seemed to be venting something, and they didn't touch any spiritual objects, resources, or treasures, as if they were afraid of being contaminated by any cause and effect. Chen Luo ignored these bloody things, but continued to trace their fate and continued to the more distant past. However, even in the more distant past, they were still like this. In so many years, many evil races have been annihilated and died, but it could not stop their patience in waiting. Chen Luo continued to trace back, and he didn't know how many fairylands he had seen from glory to decline and complete annihilation. Countless waves were panning for gold, and they were hiding behind them, watching all this quietly. After tracing back for an unknown period of time, Chen Luo vaguely saw that the sun, moon, and stars around him seemed to have changed a lot, and the vicissitudes of the chiming fairyland, all living things were annihilated. Obviously, a very long time had passed, and it was not easy to summarize it with simple years. What on earth do they want to do? As he continued to trace back, even Chen Luo felt a little frightened. These people were really too patient. During this waiting period, they had many opportunities to completely occupy the chiming fairyland and even kill all living things. However, they still did not make a move, and they were still waiting quietly. Chen Luo was silent, and only felt a chill from the heart. What did these people want after hiding in the chiming fairyland for so long? They had been hiding for so long, and they had not made a move many times. Even occupation and destruction are not what they want, so what they want is definitely beyond Chen Luo's imagination. Chen Luo felt vaguely that he seemed to be digging out a secret that was extremely involved. Why exactly is that? After thinking about it to no avail, Chen Luo could only continue to trace the large-scale consumption of the destiny power of the destiny void body. Fortunately, Chen Luo's background is extremely profound, and he has mastered many methods. He has enough power to continue to trace the destiny of the more distant past. It's here. After an unknown period of time, Chen Luo, who continued to use the power of destiny to trace the past destiny, finally found the place where these foreign evil races first appeared in the chiming immortal realm. It was a desolate super-large fairyland, filled with an extremely dead breath everywhere. The dead breath was like an abyss, madly devouring everything around it. Wherever the dead breath went, it was all desolate. I don't know how many fairylands were swallowed by it. There were no living creatures, only the ubiquitous dead breath. In the central area of this super-large dead fairyland, Chen Luo found a huge ancient evil altar. The initial aura of these evil tribes emerged from this huge ancient evil altar. Chapter 695 Altar, continued. It seems that this is the altar. Chen Luo looked straight at the huge evil altar in the super-large dead immortal realm. Surrounding this altar, there are dense black avenue spiritual patterns. These black avenue spirit patterns are like tentacles, flowing and waving around the altar. In the center of the altar is a vortex like a black hole. The breath emitted by the vortex crazily distorts everything around it. Space, laws, avenues, everything is twisting crazily, as if they are changing the world. Another long time passed, and the black vortex slowly expanded. Then, creatures flew out of the ever-expanding black vortex. These creatures exude an extremely terrifying and evil aura, and they are the evil tribes from outside the territory. Large swaths of extraterrestrial evil tribes surged out of the black vortex like a tide. Not long after, the evil tribes from outside the territory filled every corner of this area. The number of these extraterritorial evil races is extremely large, almost tens of billions. It is like forming an abyss of evil races, which makes people dare not look directly. Among them, there are ordinary emperor-level evil races, there are also many fairy-level evil races, and there are also many top evil races in the realm of immortal kings. Moreover, this black vortex is still surging out of the evil races from outside the territory. The black hole vortex is like a ruthless evil race teleportation machine, constantly transporting the evil races from outside the territory, as if it wants to fill the whole world with the evil races from outside the territory. Evil clan. However, no matter what realm the extraterrestrial evil tribes are, they look like ordinary evil tribes around the altar. There is no difference. They are all suppressed by the power of the altar and are completely unable to move. This altar has forbidden power and is the handiwork of a powerful evil clan member in the quasi-immortal emperor realm. Chen Luo was shocked when he looked at the altar and the large area of extraterritorial evil tribes around it. Because he has experienced the memory of the fire ancestor, Chen Luo is now quite familiar with the power of taboo powerhouses such as the quasi-immortal emperor. The power emanating from this altar is exactly the power that belongs to the forbidden powerful. Obviously, these large swaths of extraterrestrial evil tribes came to the Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm under the instruction of the powerful quasi-immortal emperor of the evil tribe. But, with so many evil races from outside the territory, what do they want to do? Chen Luo felt puzzled in his heart. There were so many evil races from outside the territory, and among them there were many powerful evil races in the Immortal King realm. With the number and strength of these extraterrestrial evil tribes, they can completely sweep across the entire Scarlet Bright Immortal Realm without any pressure. Boom! When Chen Luo was confused, colorful lights appeared above the black altar. These dazzling lights are like eternal divine light that destroys everything, impacting towards the black altar and black vortex. The black altar seemed to sense the eternal divine light that contained the aura of destruction, and immediately condensed a huge black palm to resist the power of the eternal divine light from the sky. Bang! In an instant, the eternal divine light collided with the huge black palm, and an extremely violent collision broke out. The majestic and incomparable air waves and inspiration exploded rapidly, causing countless ripples. Under this terrifying air wave and spiritual ripples, a large area around it began to collapse. The sky, the earth, the laws, the avenue, everything fell into collapse, as if it was the end of the world. Everything is being destroyed and collapsed. Chapter 696 Arrival. There was no surprise to the many foreign evil tribes around the altar. They were easily blasted into debris like tofu by these horrors. Countless flesh and blood, and black evil spirits splashed everywhere, and the whole world seemed to be dyed black and red. After an unknown period of time, the collision of the two forces finally ended. The eternal divine light that seemed to destroy everything completely dissipated, and the huge black palm still retained some deep black air. Although only a little bit was left, that little bit of black aura was extremely terrifying, as if it would completely distort everything around. However, the original large number of foreign evil tribes around, after the terrifying impact just now, the original tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of foreign evil tribes, now only a few thousand are left. The remaining thousands, most of them are evil tribes in the realm of true immortals, and there are a small number of emperors. There is only one fairy king left. Moreover, these thousands of foreign evil tribes are all in a very bad state, as if they are about to die at any time. Hwa hwa hwa! At this time, the remaining black breath turned into dots of black light, rushing towards the remaining many foreign evil tribes around. The dots of light entered their bodies, constantly nourishing their flesh and soul. After just a few breaths, these foreign evil tribes that had not yet died completely recovered their vitality, became full of vitality, and were full of strong evil spirits. Thank you, Zizu, for giving us life. Thank you, Zizu, for giving us life. Thank you, Zizu, for giving us life. After being saved, many evil tribes knelt down and shouted respectfully, their faces full of pious and respectful expressions. The huge sound was like a wave, surging in every corner around, causing the world to begin to shake and tear apart. Hwa wah wah! As the crowd shouted, waves of black spiritual patterns appeared on the huge black altar. The power of the spiritual patterns combined with the power of the altar, and a deep and twisted space appeared above the altar again. This twisted space exudes an extremely terrifying power, constantly tearing everything around it. After a while, an even more evil and terrifying black aura surged out from it, and the deep black aura slowly flowed out like a viscous liquid. These viscous black liquids seemed to be pulled, forming an extremely strange pattern in front of the altar. After the pattern appeared, a brilliant black light bloomed, and then, under the shining black light, a door engraved with countless evil clan marks appeared. Welcome the arrival of the evil ancestor. After the door appeared, the fanaticism on the faces of many terrifying foreign evil clan masters around became more intense, and they shouted wildly. Yay 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 yay! Then, the door engraved with countless evil clan marks slowly opened, and the heavy sound of opening the door was like the bell of death, giving people a sense of oppression deep into the bone marrow. Even though it was separated by endless time and space, Chen Luo felt a slight tremor in his soul, as if there was an extremely terrifying demon behind the door. Chen Luo mobilized the many powers in his body and forcibly suppressed the fear in his heart. Squeak! At this time, the door with countless evil clan marks opened completely. Chapter 697 Projection. Chen Luo slowly raised his head and looked towards the open door. I saw bursts of black aura pouring out of the gate with countless evil clan marks. The countless black marks are shining with brilliant light, seeming to outline an unusually mysterious power. The black aura surged in, and then, a majestic figure, like a projection of the Master of the Universe, slowly formed in countless black auras. In the dark, the whole world seemed to be frozen, unable to accommodate this terrifying projection. Meet the evil ancestor! Meet the evil ancestor! Meet the evil ancestor! Many evil tribes around him shouted respectfully and enthusiastically, and the fanaticism in their eyes almost solidified. They lowered their heads deeply, not daring to look up at all, as if every glance they took was a deep blasphemy. The evil ancestor is the ancestor of the evil clan. Hearing the deafening voice, Chen Luo immediately realized that this extremely terrifying projection was the projection of the evil ancestor of the evil clan outside their territory. Chen Luo raised his head and looked at the black projection in the distance. However, there were countless mysterious forces blocking the black projection. Even if Chen Luo had reached this level, he still couldn't see through it at all. The mysterious power around him blocked everything, making Chen Luo unable to spy at all. Chen Luo could only faintly feel the aura contained in the projection, as if it were an ancient master. Even though there was endless time and space, Chen Luo still felt frightened and couldn't help but hold his breath. Evil ancestor, of our hundreds of billions of companions, we are the only ones left now. Too many of our evil compatriots have died. Yes, evil ancestor, is it really worth it, just for us to come to this scarlet bright immortal realm? Too many compatriots have died, evil ancestor. We have lost those compatriots forever. I am in so much pain that I wish I could die with my companions. After the evil ancestor's projection appeared stable, a strong man from the outside evil race who had entered the realm of the immortal king said in a deep voice, his tone full of grief. The other evil clan strongmen also whispered, extremely sad. In order to enter this world this time, I paid a high price. The nearly 100 billion compatriots are all the elites of their evil clan. So many elites were all destroyed here, which really made them extremely desperate. During the continuous battles on the battlefields outside the territory, there had never been such horrific casualties. Now, just to enter this world, I have to pay such a high price. This is something they never thought of. It's good to be able to leave so many people. The heavenly Dao in this immortal world is extremely powerful. As long as we can leave a few hundred people, it is considered a victory for our evil tribe. Now there are thousands of compatriots left. You should feel glory, this is the glory of our evil clan. Of course, this also means that there have been some problems with the way of heaven in this immortal world. In this case, our chances may be much greater. The sacrifices of our compatriots are meaningful and valuable. It is their honor to sacrifice their lives for the future of our evil tribe. There is no need to feel sad. A deep and ethereal voice came from the direction of the projection. This voice was extremely terrifying and oppressive, and seemed to tear the universe apart. Chapter 698, Hibernation. However, this voice made many evil clan masters around feel a sincere sense of security. Hearing the words of Xiaoziu, the anxious heart of the evil clan master in the realm of Immortal King calmed down, and the grief on his face suddenly disappeared. They shouted for the glory of the evil clan and fought for the glory of the evil clan. The fanatical and boiling shouts filled this world, making the space tremble constantly. But, Lord Xiaoziu, we only have these compatriots left. Can we still do our best for the glory of our evil clan? After a while, their shouts subsided, and the top evil clan master in the realm of Immortal King looked at the evil clan projections at the gates of countless evil clan marks with some hesitation, his face full of worry. Originally, when they had nearly 100 billion compatriots, this evil clan master was still full of confidence. However, now there are only a few thousand compatriots left, which really makes him a little frustrated, and even has no confidence at all. Although he was very confident in his own strength and the strength of his compatriots, it was too difficult for thousands of evil people to make waves in this big world. Now is not the time for you to exert your strength. Your aura has been marked by the heavenly Dao of this fairyland. It is best not to take action, otherwise, it will attract the attention of the heavenly Dao. Even I can't protect you. At this time, the deep and evil voice of the Zizu projection sounded again. Hearing the voice of the Zizu, many powerful evil people from outside the domain seemed to think of the power of the golden divine light just now, and couldn't help shuddering. That power was too terrifying. If it weren't for the protection of the Zizu, even if they had just survived by chance, they would eventually fall in this chiming fairyland because of the extremely tragic injuries. So that's how it is. No wonder they didn't make a move despite countless opportunities. It turns out that they were marked by the heavenly Dao of this fairyland. Then everything makes sense. It's not that they don't want to make a move, but that they can't make a move. If they are discovered by the heavenly Dao, everything they have will be completely annihilated. Hearing the voice of the projection of the evil ancestor, Chen Luo also understood. The power of the heavenly Dao is an existence that transcends all laws and original powers, and is connected to the will of a large world. Especially in the native territory, that is, the territory of the chiming fairyland, the power of the heavenly Dao will be greatly enhanced. Even the top quasi-immortal emperors cannot resist the power of the heavenly Dao from the fairyland. Not to mention these foreign evil races that are only immortal kings, true immortals, and emperors. If they are discovered by the power of the heavenly Dao, there will be no surprises except death. If we don't make a move, what's the point of us in this chiming fairyland? The evil race strongman at the Immortal King realm asked puzzledly, with a puzzled look on his face. These evil clan warriors were born to destroy and ruin, and now, the evil ancestor actually told them not to take action. The many powerful people around were also slightly stunned. If they didn't take action, then why did they come here? If the black projection in front of them was not their evil clan, they would have hit him hard on the spot. You didn't let us take action, and you made so many of us pay such a painful price to come here? Lying dormant. What you have to do is to lie dormant in this world. Lying dormant in this world, waiting for an opportunity to reverse everything and determine the fate of the world. Chapter 699 Discovery. The voice of the Zizu projection rang in the ears of every Xie clan strongman, deafening. Dormant, do we have to dormant in this chiming immortal realm? I understand. The Xianwang strongman of the Xie clan murmured in a low voice, and a glimmer of light slowly appeared in his eyes. As long as they can play their value, they are willing. The confusion in the eyes of other Xie clan strongmen also slowly disappeared. Then, Lord Zizu, how long do we have to dormant in this chiming immortal realm? A strong man of the Xie clan couldn't help but ask. I don't know, maybe tens of thousands of years, maybe hundreds of thousands of years, maybe millions of years, maybe even longer. Wait for an opportunity, and when the opportunity comes, you will know. The Zizu replied, his voice was extremely ethereal. Hearing this answer, many Xie clan strongmen present were shocked, and they felt extremely heavy in their hearts. They didn't know how many years of dormancy. Is it possible that all we can do is wait? Countless unknown years of torture and waiting. The strong men of the Xie clan spoke one after another, obviously dissatisfied with this answer. This is not torture. Your existence may be related to the most critical future of our tribe. Believe me, one day in the future, when the voice of the evil ancestor is still ethereal and vicissitudes, which makes people feel infinite awe. Interesting, someone dares to spy on me, what a courage. At this time, the evil ancestor suddenly changed the subject, and his voice became deep and cold, as if to completely freeze the entire time and space. I was discovered, how could it be possible? This is separated by countless time and space. In this time and space territory, Chen Luo only felt his scalp tingling, his soul trembling, and his body was almost completely frozen in place. Could it be that the evil ancestor is an existence that surpasses the quasi-immortal emperor? A terrible thought emerged in Chen Luo's mind. Although Chen Luo did not break through the quasi-immortal emperor, he glimpsed the memory of the fire ancestor and knew the path and power of the quasi-immortal emperor. Although the quasi-immortal emperor is powerful, this is separated by endless time and space, and Chen Luo is only the incarnation of a trace of destiny power, which ordinary quasi-immortal emperors cannot perceive at all. This evil ancestor, just a projection, could actually sense the incarnation of his own destiny from countless years in the future. This perception was really terrifying. This was obviously beyond the scope of the quasi-immortal emperor. An evil ancestor who surpassed the quasi-immortal emperor. Thinking of this, Chen Luo's heart became colder. Even if he was not a quasi-immortal emperor, but with such terrifying means, his strength definitely surpassed the ordinary quasi-immortal emperor, and his strength was immeasurable. This terrifying peerless peak powerhouse spent such a huge price to arrange so many foreign evil tribes to lurk in the chiming immortal realm. He must have a great plot. In a short period of time, many thoughts flashed through Chen Luo's mind. Humph, don't come out. Spy on this master, die. At this time, the terrifying and low voice of the evil ancestor projection sounded again. Hwa wah wah. Then, deep and incomparable evil spirit power emerged from the body of the evil ancestor projection. These evil spirit powers seemed to be the source of the most evil power, making the surrounding space endlessly distorted. Soon, the evil spirits that distorted the space turned into huge black tentacles, rushing towards Chen Luo's incarnation of destiny. Chapter 700 Discovery, continued. This black tentacle has a very deep power, as if it has completely frozen everything around it. Chen Luo's destiny incarnation not far away immediately activated the power in his body and tried to break free. However, this deep power is too terrifying. Even if Chen Luo's immortal power and many origin powers are fully deployed, he still can't break free. Hwa hwa hwa. In an instant, these black tentacles containing deep power have already impacted in front of Chen Luo. The powerful tentacles carry terrifying power and quickly penetrate Chen Luo's body. Hat, an ant who has not even entered the realm of quasi-immortal emperor dares to cross the river of destiny and spy on me. Who gave you the courage? The projection of the evil ancestor looked at the destiny incarnation of Chen Luo, who was penetrated by his tentacles, his face full of sarcasm and mockery, as if he was laughing at Chen Luo's overestimation of his own ability. Invincible! 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 Feeling the tearing power contained in the tentacles, Chen Luo suddenly felt a deep fear in his heart. Instantly realized that this was not an enemy he could deal with. Even if he was just a projection, he contained the root power to destroy everything. Retreat first. Chen Luo immediately made up his mind and stopped exploring the truth of this matter. His body slowly turned into a virtual force to operate the power of destiny in his body and return to the present world. As the power of destiny in Chen Luo's body operated, Chen Luo's incarnation of destiny began to slowly dissipate. Hey! This projection of the evil ancestor didn't stop me. When Chen Luo's incarnation of destiny dissipated, he was also confused. The power of this projection of the evil ancestor was too terrifying. It could completely contain his power of destiny, delay his return, and even stop him. However, after he activated the power of destiny, the projection of the evil ancestor didn't stop him at all, which really puzzled Chen Luo. However, Chen Luo did not think too much, and accelerated the operation of his destiny power, allowing his incarnation to return to the present world, without noticing the disdain in the eyes of the projection of the evil ancestor in the distance. Hua hua hua! After a while, under the full development of Chen Luo's destiny power, Chen Luo's destiny incarnation disappeared in this space. When Chen Luo came to his senses again, he found that he had returned to the chiming immortal realm. Chen Luo, what's going on? Have you found out anything? Molly looked at Chen Luo, who had come to his senses, and asked hurriedly. Molly was also very curious about this matter. After all, the chiming immortal realm hid so many evil tribes, and there must be a shocking conspiracy. No, but I know who planned this. Chen Luo shook his head and said with some lingering fear. Just now, he faced the power of the projection of the evil ancestor. Thinking about it now still shocked Chen Luo. It was really terrible that he could find himself across the endless time and space destiny. Jasmine asked, who is it? It's the evil ancestor of the evil race. He paid a huge price countless years ago and sent a large number of evil race strongmen into the chiming immortal realm, letting them lie dormant in the chiming immortal realm and wait for an opportunity. Chen Luo said slowly, telling Jasmine what he had found out. Evil ancestor, is it the evil ancestor of the evil race? Suddenly, Jasmine spoke, her face turned pale in an instant, and she looked at Chen Luo with some trembling. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.